Everyone to Tabletop to Keyboard. I'm Dustin. It is another Thursday night, and finally, after a bit of a hiatus because of my vacationing habits, we are back with Terror and Treefell. This is a Zweihander RPG campaign. This is Chapter 7 Massacre, as you just saw there in the intro. I wanted to go ahead and start today with a bit of a recap, both for viewers' sake and, of course, for the players' sake, because, let's face it, it's been like a month. And we played one game, and then there was like kind of a month break before that. So the holidays made things a little screwy. So I'm going to do just a full game recap here once we get started. I do have to move a screen real fast first. That way I can see all of you out there in the chat. Oh, Geek Unleashed is rated with 10 people. Thank you, Geek, for bringing in some viewers over here to us. Again, if you're just getting here, this is a Zweihander RPG campaign, Terror and Treefell. I'm about to do a full game recap, so it's a good time if you're a new viewer. Give us a follow and come back and see the rest of these games. So, the party started out in a city of Huttenberg. Located right there. And in the city, they were in a shopping area when their outrider, Nadia, noticed a man who was slumped over in the saddle riding towards town. She goes to help him, finds out that he's not doing so well, brings him into town to try to get him some help, upon which these worms erupt out of him, and a small battle ensues in a marketplace. They all get exposed. A plague doctor by the name of Latronius shows up, quarantines them all, and after deciding they've all been exposed to this new disease, these new parasites, decides that instead of killing them, which is what the doctrine would normally do for people that bring such diseases into town, and so it doesn't spread, he sent them to Treefell, where the courier had come from, to find out where this disease had come from and to see if they could put a stop to it. He was going to give them, I think it was 2 weeks, I think I said. I have to review my notes on that. But they had 2 weeks to figure out where this disease come from and find a way to put an end to it, or he was going to come exterminate them. And if they returned to town, he was going to exterminate them. So they got a cart given to them, and they left Huttenberg, took the long path up to Treefell, up into the near mountain area. They get there, they're greeted by this small little quaint town that used to be a big lumbering town, but the lumber and everything they used there was to create war machines for the wars. Well, the wars have all ended, so there isn't really a lot of need for Treefell anymore, so it's turned into this little city where most of the people who were producers, laborers, and stuff have mostly left. So it's just a few kind of important families in town and people who are just too stubborn to leave. So they make their own little kind of cultish, little sort of ancillary kind of group out there that still runs this town. And when they get there into town, they get met by one of the more prominent families, the Brown family. And they take them in and they have them sit down with dinner with them and they meet everybody. And then the next day, a tragedy strikes, and one of the youngest members of the family, Jackie Brown, he is slaughtered out in the woods by some mysterious shadowy figure with a coat and a shovel, is all that the little girl that was out there with him can describe. So they go on this manhunt, and they hunt the thing down by the river where the two kids had been playing when Jackie Brown was killed. And when they get down there, they do find him and they encounter him, and they start to realize that he's not human. There's something not right about him. They find a necklace at the time. They bring it back to town, start to investigate a little on the necklace. They start noticing that in the wake of this young kid's death, that a lot of people in the town have started becoming more fanatical. They start whipping themselves with pittance ropes. They notice there was a lot of strange things going on. They can't find insects or worms anywhere down by the river. Like all those things that you would normally find, there's no birds. The things are very weird. Things aren't right. So they get a local fisherman named Bubba to go down to the river with them to try to see if he can find things, because he's good at finding worms and things for bait for fishing. And he can't find anything either. And while they're down there, Zelina attempts to use a bit of her magic, and Bubba notices. They didn't do a good enough job of distracting Bubba. So he comes back to town, tells Father Enoch, who's the head of the church, and Father Enoch begins an inquisition to have Zelina burned at the stake. Hagen, our court jester, takes out Father Enoch, and Everest and them help disperse the crowd and get them to leave Zelina alone. Just about in time for some very large wolves to come running into town, upon which they fall over dead and their bodies shrivel up as these extremely large ticks start to raid the town. And so they end up in a combat with these extremely large mutated ticks that are trying to drain them dry. After they defeat all the ticks and everything else, they notice the shadowy figure once again out on the edge of town. And unfortunately, one of the things that happened during that fight when the shadowy figure showed up is that Bubba, the guy who just helped them, had the same worms erupt out of him. So they were dealing with ticks and these worms. After all that occurs, those things finally were driven away when Alice Brown comes out with the other half of the necklace that Nigel had been looking into, revealing that she not only knows who the shadowy figure is, but that, once upon a time that they were a couple a long, long time ago. But she never knew what happened to him. Her father, Jessup, and everyone else in town had found out that he was grave robbing, and so they ran him out of town, and so she had never heard from him again. Unfortunately, she used magic to undo the warping magic that had made the ticks grow large and mutated, and when they witnessed her do that, everyone in the town under the direction of Father Enoch took Alice captive and were going to try her for heresy, for witchcraft, even though she had used it to somewhat help the town not be destroyed by overgrown ticks. So the party asked for the piece of the necklace back, and they said they were going to go across the river where they had trailed the grave robber, and they were going to see if they could find some evidence that would officially, I guess, absolve Alice of her heresy. So in the last session, they went across the river. They explored a bit and realized that they'd come across these small mushrooms called orc spore that are known to, if you encounter them and inhale their spores, they will cause you to turn into an orcs, which orcs haven't been seen in this area since the last war, which was like 20-some years ago. So the orcs have been believed to be completely run out. They've developed a bit of a cure for orc spore, but they find this ruined temple just beyond that, and when they go down inside, they find that there's demons living down in there. They meet a little butler demon named Ixie, who tries to persuade the group not to enter the dungeon any further, but of course, they're adventurers now officially, right? They're going to go ahead and go on in. So they do, and they had to deal with a set of nasty swinging blade traps that they hurt quite a bit if you get hit by them, and they did take a few blows, only to get into a room into the main chamber where they met the Wretched One, who is a large devourer demon under the Prince of Decay, who informed the party that he has been cut off from his powers of the abyss, and that another demon, because of his failures with the orcs to not overrun this area, another demon has come, who is going to replace him in this temple, and is going to launch a new kind of war against Valandria. So the group decides to go ahead and leave, and on their way back, they stumble across a shallow grave where they find some of the remains of Milton Fillibrand, who is the grave robber that they've been looking for, and they come to the conclusion that Milton Fillibrand is already dead. But what the Wretched One told them in the temple was the only way to stop this other demon from coming was they would need some of Milton Fillibrand's blood in order to conduct a ritual sacrifice in the temple in order to close the portal off, or a much larger, meaner demon is going to show up to replace the Wretched One. And so that's where we leave off, with the party mostly in bad shape. They've been hurt, they're perilled, they're shaken badly, wandering back into town with, I think they took the boot and foot, like leg bone of the dead man that they found, and the necklace piece that they had, and this knowledge of what lies now on the other side of the river, where they were all told not to go by the high elders of the town. But they, of course, did anyway. And, finally. And now that they've come back to town, they are looking for a good night's rest and a bit of healing up so they can try to keep Alice Brown from being burned at a stake in the morning. So, without any further ado, now that we've covered up most of the plot details through the first six game sessions, and those sessions are all on YouTube and here in the VODs if you want to go back and watch it all. We're going to go ahead and just do a little reintroduction with our characters We are short one tonight. We have no Meraki here, so when it gets around to that time, I will cover Meraki's reintroduction. The player's not feeling well tonight, so we hope she gets feeling better and she'll be back next game. Hopefully everyone survives in her absence, because there's gonna be some combat tonight, I'm afraid, and they don't have their heaviest hitter. So we'll see how that goes for them. So in no specific order, and because he decided he didn't want to go first, I'm gonna make Georgie go first. So Georgie, let's reintroduce your character. Let's just for a little recap, tell them your character's name, tell them your original profession and your new profession now that we're at intermediate tier, and tell them a little bit about where your character's at and kind of what they're thinking at the moment, Georgie.
So my character is Nadia. She is an outrider originally. Now she is picked up plague doctor. I mean, for the most part, she's confused by a lot of this magic stuff, but she does know the orcs well. She spent most of her life awaiting their return so she could extinguish them once again. So when she found the mushrooms and found what they were being used for, her interest is definitely piqued, and she knows that they are returning.
All right. And just tell us a little bit, let's give a little status update for Nadia. Where are you at on peril and on your health?
Oh, so peril, there's this thing. I am completely incapacitated right now. I'm pretty sure I'm being carried out. I'm pretty sure Meraki is actually carrying me right now, even though her player's not here. And on the grounds of actual injury, I am just moderately wounded, although I have died once.
Yeah, well, you used your fate point to save yourself, so right. You didn't actually die. There was a shot that would have killed you, but you used fate to save yourself. All right, so you are definitely one of the people who need a good nap and a good healing.
Amen.
All right, let's move down the road here. Woda, go ahead and let's reintroduce your character again and tell us your new update and where your character's headspace is at right now, along with your injuries and your peril status as well.
Okay. Like you said, I'm Woda. I'm playing Hagen, who is an older gentleman who is skinny, and he's about 6'2", so he's kind of taller, especially in this day and age. But he's a jester, and so he's got a lot of acrobatic skills. He does some juggling, things like that. That was when he was in his prime, and now he's kind of retired. Malnourished, geriatric, whatever. He's got a kind of a cherubic face, but when he was run out of town for being a jester, he was beat up quite a bit by some lord's men, and his face got messed up, and so he's got a milky eye and a lazy eye. So he's a handsome fella, but so he, like I said, he was a jester. He still kind of does some of that work, but most recently he picked up, maybe because some of the things that happened to him while he was here in Treefell, he picked up some extra things. I'm going with him, vigilante mode, and so he's gonna go on some assassin killing sprees. Should be a lot of fun to watch this old guy with messed up eyeballs go and kill a bunch of people. Yeah.
All right.
So headspace, though, that's what he was doing for that. But in my peril, I am down to just below incapacitated. So I can walk, but I'm not doing very well. A little bit better than Nadia, and obviously I can't carry her because I'm just a skinny guy. And for health, let's see. Where's that? Rewards and tiers?
No, it's under your talents and trappings page. You'll see it over on the right side.
I knew that. Oh, I'm just slightly wounded on that. So, yeah, I should be okay there. Just I need some rest.
All right. Lee, player of Everest, why don't you go ahead and reintroduce Everest to everybody and tell them about your upgrades in your new profession.
Alrighty. I'm playing Everest Yardnero, a delectable, handsome, ripe, young, elven fop who has come a bit down on his luck in the finances department as of late, and maybe has resorted to begging. Anyway, I'm playing a fop who has taken the beggar profession as my intermediate profession. I am scared when combat happens. That's particularly one of my disorders. Is that when combat happens, I really suck. So I get pretty scared of things. Pretty much, basically, what I am, just a big mooch that's scared of stuff. I'm really good at talking people down, though. So I did some handy stuff here and there. As far as my current condition, I am fairly imperiled. Speaking of being scared, down to the ignore 2 ranks department. And I am lightly wounded. No injuries.
All right. So that's our beggar of the group. And that'll take us down to Scott, who's the player of Nigel. Why don't you go ahead and reintroduce Nigel to everybody?
Hi, everyone. All right, so Nigel is kind of a middle-aged, grizzled, gnomish sellsword who hails from the town of Frumsburg, where he encountered a cannibalistic wizard at one point in time. When he came back from duty with his mercenary warband of redcaps, to discover his neighborhood had basically been destroyed. He has since traveled with them, tried to retire to, what was the name of the town we just came from, or originally came from?
Huttenberg is where you guys started.
Okay. He tried to retire to Huttenberg, where he had like a small general store, only to fall in with these guys, get himself quarantined and exiled. He has, let's see here. What else do we need to know? His current state of mind is he's frustrated and he's pissed. And he is, he's got like 4 levels of peril, I think. Most of which he kind of ignores, due to the gritty nature of his sellsword skills. And I think he's actually got several levels of wounds right now. 4? Is it 4?
I think you're down to seriously wounded. You never hit grievously wounded, or we'd have had to check for injury, because sellswords basically ignore wounds down to
you are correct.
Or seriously wounded. Yeah, and I think that's where you stopped, because you decided you didn't. So, I think you saved a fate point so that you could, and you just took the level of damage.
Yeah. So yeah, he's rattled, he's cut up, he's bruised, he's holding himself together with spit and baling wire. He's grumpy. He's not sure where he put his tooth file, because he usually files his teeth when he needs to like meditate. Yeah, that's kind of where he is. He wants to know who's responsible for the injustice happening in Treefell. He wants to kind of put them down. He wants to figure out where the undead menace is coming from. All he really wants to do is just resume his normal life, but he knows that's not going to happen. So he's fallen back on his old military ways, essentially shifting from sellsword mode into military officer mode. Yeah, he's not a happy fellow right now.
All right. So yeah, and our last player who's with us here tonight, Shoshi, the player of Zelina. Go ahead and reintroduce Zelina and just kind of give us an update on where Zelina's at right now.
Alright. So Zelina is a cultist, and she also is a witch, basically, right? I think that she was a...
Your cultist is your profession, so...
Oh, that's
you're-
right.
Some
But so
people kind of
she's-
view you as a witch because of it, but you're not really.
That's right. She doesn't think of herself as a witch. She just thinks of herself as extremely devout. And, yeah, she just kind of really got pulled into this group by accident. And she is kind of like a reluctant goer now, but she's kind of taken an interest in this town because of the fact that she helped bury the child and then got sucked into the whole literal witch hunt by accident. And so after the visit with the demon, she kind of, I don't know how much I should give away, but her headspace is basically she has resigned herself to realizing that she may have to sacrifice herself for, to keep this demon in, in the name of her god away.
Yeah. And your new profession that you took is... Do you remember the name of it?
I don't remember if I took a new profession. I don't think
Yeah.
I did.
You did. You don't... I asked you if you wanted the new prayers for the custodian, and there's only one profession that gives it. So once you said yes, I went ahead and added it to your sheet. You're an augur now, is the name of the profession.
Is that somebody who sees the future and stuff?
They get the custodian. Your deity is the god of death and dreams. So you receive prophetic. You have some spells and prayers you do that'll let you have basically kind of prophetic dreams. You'll get little dream sequences from your god.
Nice.
For your 37 cents a day. The price of a coffee. You too can support a custodian who will send you dream messages in your head. Yeah, spelled exactly like that. Woda, A-U-G-U-R. Augur.
Yeah. Seriously though, like if you want, I can start hooking for some cash, and I'm totally down for going down this route. Because I want to do some dream, whatever. That sounds cool.
So
if we need money, I got it. I got this.
If you haven't had a chance to look at your sheet already, Shoshi, you will see on the rituals and magics page. I got it working. Those actually work now. If you click on them, they will actually cast in the chat bar.
Nice.
But you will notice that you have now also included on your list all the prayers of the custodian.
Nice.
And you got a few other generalist spells added. The reason why those are there is because you took the book from the altar in the ruined temple.
Oh, that's right.
If you use your book, you can cast any of those that you would need to. Some of them are more harder to cast than others, and I will look them up in the actual core book. I didn't put all the rules in there for them, but I did make sure they were there so that you can at least reference what level of magic they are, petty, lesser, greater, which is important.
Right.
Things like that, so that you'll have that information. But some of the material components and all that I have not put in there, so don't go by those. If you want to try to do something, just let me know, and we'll... I'll do a little explaining of a spell to you if you need it. So
it looks like I need a splinter of some wood for a lot of these.
No, that's not true. That's only for Aegis. That's the spell component for Aegis. It defaults in there for every spell that I put on there until I change it to the actual spell component. I have to type over every one of them. So I worked today just to get them to actually cast correctly, but I haven't got all the rest of it updated in there yet. But I will get that done before next game. So now that we've kind of gotten a good reintroduction to our party, we are short a Meraki tonight. And that is very unfortunate, because Meraki is the ogre slayer. Not ogre slayer as in slays ogre. She is an ogre who is the slayer profession, meaning that she wields 2 weapons and hits like a truck and is as big and mean as they come. And her new profession is pit fighter. And if you don't know what pit fighters do, the cool ability they start with, and everybody's new profession, all they get when they join it is the initial trait. But the new initial trait for Meraki's pit fighter is if she spends a fortune point, she heals 1 peril and 1 health every time she spends a fortune point. So, as if she wasn't mean enough and hard to kill already, Now she's going to be really hard to kill as long as you guys have fortune points. So you guys will be missing her tonight, unfortunately. So yeah, she is the reason why you've all lived so long. So we are going to go ahead and pick up now story-wise with the party coming back across the river. Like I said, I believe you picked up a leg bone, or at least from like the knee down leg, decayed leg of Milton Fillibrand. And you came back with the book that Zelina's doing her best to hide from everyone. And the piece of necklace, Nigel still has it. And you guys come back to town and it's late, and you're met by Mikhail, who sees you and rushes down on it from his horse, and he hops off and he says, "Whoa, you guys look like you've been through some stuff. Hurry, we should make our way to the barber surgeon now. You need healed and rested."
Yeah, we do. I think Nadia's got the worst of it.
"Yes, bring her this way, and he leads you guys over to the barber surgeon, Terrence Mars, and his son Mason Mars, who's the apprentice barber surgeon. And their lights are on, and he knocks on the door, and they come, they answer, and they see you guys out there, and they usher you into the barber surgeon's place there, and he's got tables laid out. He goes, "Here, quickly, hop up on these tables. We'll get some bandages whipped up right away, and boy, you guys do look worse for wear. If needed, we do have a few laudanum still on hand."
Oh, I will take those.
Not all at once now, damn it.
Just one. Two would be bad.
Oh,
More than two is very, very bad.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just take one then. I
So
don't want to get addicted.
So he comes over with some bandages and starts to tend to you all, and all of you, if you let him, it'll take a little bit of time. It takes about an hour for him to get through all of you. Terrence and Mason both spend time bandaging up your wounds, and you'll all recover 1 health level from the bandages. And he looks down at these wounds, and These are some cleaving marks that you have. I haven't seen anything like these since the wars. Where did you get them?
Hatchet traps.
Hatchets traps in the woods? Like bear traps?
No, like hatchets swinging from the walls of an underground tomb thingy.
There's a tomb.
Yeah, don't go there. It's bad news. Bad news, don't go there.
Where's there a tomb?
It's on the other side of the Forbidden Zone. We had to track the thing there.
You see Mason looks up at his father, and you see Terrence gets this kind of concerned look on his face. Says, "What were you doing on the other side of the river anyway?"
We had to track the thing there. Listen, it was a bad idea. It's a bad situation. I'm sorry we had to do it, but that's where the clues took us, and this entire thing is all bad news. I'm sorry.
Is he intimidating?
Did you say we healed any peril? Sorry, we asked you like a bunch of questions.
You haven't healed peril yet.
Just one wound.
We're getting to that in a moment. Just a health level.
Okay.
When you say health level, do you mean our damage
track?
condition
Yeah.
track?
Your damage track
Okay,
goes
good.
positively up 1, so you're moving up the track towards.
Unharmed.
Yeah.
Cool. Nigel kind of complains, apologizes, but tries not to give any actionable information.
That's fair. So he goes back to preparing some more bandages for the next person. So
I just wanted to remind everyone to make sure your damage threshold modifier and your peril threshold modifier is set back to 0, because I believe mine was on 3.
Yeah, you guys had a bonus from... There was something that you guys did. I think there was a litany of hatred or inspiring words gave you one. And there may have been something else that had given you a bonus too. So those should all be reset to 0. It's a tiny little box underneath the bigger boxes is where the bonus goes. So make sure it's set back to 0. All right. So he goes back to prepping his bandages, and his son's helping him and helping apply them and putting the ointments and everything on there. It's actually, when you make bandages for healing, they actually use a honey pot. So they're actually honey soaked pieces of cloth that they're wrapping around on your wounds. It says, now let them rest and sit overnight, and you should be mostly back to tip-top shape by morning. If he looks around and he goes, I guess there's a good chance, Nigel, you might need a laudanum.
I can't. I already had one today.
Okay, then I'll make sure I put one back for you for in the morning.
Oh, I will take it, and I'll hold on to it for him.
No
worries there.
That's quite
Don't
all right.
give it to the elf.
You're already holding on to 2. I don't want you to kill yourself. Go ahead and hand it here.
Oh, I'm not... I know how to
He
take this stuff in moderation.
He takes it out of a locker that you notice has the name Mortimer etched into the front of it. He takes it out of there. It's kind of in a little, like, kind of almost like a mason jar sort of deal. He pulls it out and hands it over there to you. He goes, no, don't take it till in the morning.
Yeah, I've worked with this before. Here, hold on. Everest, if you want to hold on to something medicinal, take 2 of these, and I hand over some red cap mushrooms.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
He looks you all over and he goes, if you would like, you're welcome to stay here for the night. Me and Mason can watch over you, make sure you don't have any adverse reactions to anything. Or if you want, you're welcome to go back to your cabins.
Okay.
I definitely would like to go back.
All right.
I'm gonna just kind of, in a non-perverted way, ask if anyone minds if I stay with them, because I'm still on edge from earlier, basically.
That's fine.
That actually sounds like a good idea. Why don't we all find a common cabin and bunk up together for protection?
That's good.
I don't want the townsfolk coming and grabbing one of us and dragging us off into the night.
Can't imagine what would make you think that might happen.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Possibly, maybe even have a few of us take watch.
Mikhail, he goes, you don't have to worry about watch. He goes, I'm on patrol tonight. There won't be any trouble.
We want to trust you, sir, but you must understand. The things that we've been through as a group has sort of grown our bond of trust a bit stronger than it could be for anyone else, you see. So, while we do appreciate
he kind
the
of
offer,
rolls his eyes a bit. He's like, whatever. Do what you want.
My apologies. I did not mean to offend.
He nods to Terrence and to Mason. He goes, I'm going to go get back on the horse and continue my patrol.
Hey, we do thank you.
He hops back up on the horse. He goes, don't think anything of it. This is the most action I've seen around here in quite some time. He kind of takes off.
Action, huh? Jeez. Hey, Mason, do you know, or I guess Terrence either. Do you guys know anything about Alice? What's going on with that?
Mason kind of looks at Terrence and he kind of grimaces a little. He goes, well, it's unfortunate, but she's revealed her abilities to tamper with the abyss. That's considered heresy in these parts, unfortunately. And I'm afraid with her old boyfriend showing up and killing young Jackie Brown and beginning to haunt this place, that I'm afraid she may have to pay for those transgressions. I hate to see it happen. She's been such a central part of this town for as long as I've been here. And I hate to think that somehow her young romance with that despicable grave robber would do her in so many years later, but it seems to be the case. Mason kind of hangs his head. Says, I guess we can never be too careful who we make associations with, can we, Father? Says, nope, son, we've always tried to instill those sorts of things into both of my boys. Mason here listened, and unfortunately Mortimer did not.
I'm just gonna kind of look around for any food that might be laid out. Grab a snack before heading out.
Yeah, they'll get you a small bite to eat if you need anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I forget who Mortimer is. Is that his other son?
Mortimer's the other son. You've never met the other son. It's the first you've even heard of his name since being in Treefell.
Ask about it.
Terrence, I see that you have that box over there that says Mortimer on it, and I wasn't gonna ask anything, but you mentioned Mortimer. Is that another son you have?
Yes, he was my older son. He was studying to become an apothecary. In fact, these are his old laudanums and things he's left behind that we occasionally use to treat people when they become seriously injured. As you can guess, since the mills have shut down around here and the lumberjacks have all returned to Huttenberg, that we don't get very many serious injuries like these that your gnome friend here has sustained, but we do keep a few of his medicinal supplies around that he didn't take with him when he left the Huttenberg all those years ago.
Oh, so he moved on to Huttenberg then, same as some of the other people here.
Yes, Jessup, when the wars ended and everything began to shut down and things became more desperate around here, we lost a many bright young villagers like my son and Jessup's son, Winston, who packed up and took their families and fled to Huttenberg. I guess they were looking for opportunity. They didn't see much left here to stick around for, I suppose.
I do greatly apologize, but I honestly only tuned in towards the end there. What did you say happened to your son?
He left for Huttenberg, seeking better opportunity for his trade.
Oh, yes. It's quite sensible of him.
That's what many seem to believe around these parts. Some of us still believe there's value here in Treefell, that someday they're gonna need our mills opened back up again. It just, with the orcs being gone, there doesn't pose a large enough threat to warrant siege equipment, I suppose, anymore.
Perhaps you should find something else to build, like wagons or
well,
I don't know, bins or something. I'm not sure.
The trees here in Treefell grow exceptionally large. They're the only ones sturdy enough to build things like trebuchets and catapults, battering rams. Treefell lumber is the best lumber for those sorts of things. Carts, wagons, there's much closer forest to Huttenberg and Valandria that they can take the lumber from for the more mundane things, I suppose. Cheaper when you don't have to have it travel so far for construction.
Maybe it's all about how you market it. Maybe if you market it as the town to get the most sturdy wagons in all the land or something, and you had a fellow like myself that you gave a small percentage of your wages and allowed me to persuade them to possibly make deals with you, I believe this town could be back on its feet in no time.
Well, I appreciate your spunk, young elf, but I'm an old barber surgeon. I'm not a shop owner, and I'm not much for marketing, I suppose. Perhaps when young Mason here takes over, he'll take more of a business entrepreneurship the way that you suggest. Maybe you can talk with Herbert and some of the others in town. Maybe they'll adopt more of your ideas and of how to market our lumber. But I'm prepared for things to get back to being peaceful around here again, and just live out what days I have left up here in this place that we came to so long ago when it was much more needed, I suppose. In the meantime, you guys should go get your rest. You need time for those bandages to soak in.
Yes, I'm very tired.
I don't know. It just seems like some of the people in this town. It almost seems like you guys want another war to happen just so that the town can flourish again. It's kind of odd. It's almost like somebody made a deal with the devil.
Yes, I suppose there are probably some who wish to see the mills open back up and for prosperity to come back this way again. But I don't think anyone who's old enough to remember the Orcs' Wars would ever wish that those wretched things would come back this way ever again. I'd sooner lose both of my sons to Huttenberg and die here an old man alone before I'd see those things return.
If they're anything like these creatures we've been battling, then I would hate to see what they look like.
Yep, beyond how close you are to having all this again.
I mean, you've seen these things, Hagen, right? Weren't you I heard you were a jester in the Emperor's court once during the Orcs' Wars.
Yes, I was. I saw a lot of it. At least the manic of it. I didn't get to see any of it, thankfully. But I got to see some of the people as they come back and the looks on their faces. And I've tried to do everything I could to cheer them up. I cheered up their lady friends when they were gone, but that wasn't enough when they came back, though.
He says only ever once treated the Orcs' molt. Only once. Fortunate patient, it didn't work. The treatment never set in. We lost him on the table, but it's the only real encounter I'd ever seen with it, and it's all the closer I ever wanted to get to it.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Not good stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious. Did the elves ever tell you why they didn't want the townsfolk to cross the river?
I never met with the elves. It was Willis Brown and Jessup who made the trek up the mountain to meet with King Nikilos. They came down with the Accords. And amongst them was to never set foot across the river. It was considered elven land. They had their reasons. We didn't question anything. We just stayed to this side. Did the lumbering out the other direction from the river, of course. Cleared where the cemetery now resides and where some of the other homes have been built over time. And
as he's talking, I'm sorry. My character gives the fop like an eyebrow raise, and then kind of mouths like, "We need to talk."
Oh yes, sure.
well, you should all be getting off back to your. You should all be getting off back to your cabin now.
Yes.
I'm exhausted.
I'm sure you'll want to get up bright and early and make it to the church in time for Alice's trial. I know me and Mason plan to attend. Nothing else to be there for the rest of the family, should things unfortunately go the way that I fear they might.
Do you suppose it'll be a fair trial? I don't know what fair would mean in this town, though.
I don't believe any fairness exists here left, no offense, sir.
Well, unless you guys, unless you came back with some compelling evidence, I think most of the people in town witnessed what she did.
Honestly, I believe the evidence is that what she did was helpful, but call me crazy.
Well, I suppose there's a matter of motive. But that'll be up for the townsfolk to all decide.
I just mutter under my breath, unfortunately.
So,
All right, folks. Let's go back and determine where we're all going to be at.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, whatever the biggest cabin we can have access to and pile in on, and that has good vantage points of the town and stuff.
yeah, you guys go back and Hagen and Everest, your guys' cabin was the largest of them, and that's why you both took it to bunk up in to begin with. You guys have always slept double bunked, because Everest has always been scared. Now everyone else is slightly scared too. So that's the easiest bunk to convert to hold all of you, if you were going to do so.
Also smells nice too. Lots of essential oils in there and stuff.
And as we determined, it's also the closest one to the center of town and the church, because they had to walk past your guys' cabin to get out there to where Zelina's cabin and the other cabins were. So since we kind of established that a few games ago, we'll go with that as the largest one.
Perfect. Is one door in?
Yeah, one door in, one door out. These are simple cabins.
Okay.
They're just yours is larger than the others.
Sounds good. Okay.
So once we get in, Zelina sits down on the bed and she motions the fop over and says, if I were someone who's trying to change how the economy of the town is working and making deals with devils, I would definitely come back to town and tell everyone that the elves had made a declaration to stay far away from the demon temple that I had commandeered.
That's quite a possibility.
Hey, Everest, you remember that the temple you guys were just at?
Uh-huh.
The demon Ixie mentioned the elves came first, and that the temple was once elven, and that they worship there.
Well, the elves do claim that they did worship there initially, prior to the humans, but
We don't know what happened exactly, but I'm wondering if the elves actually did that.
It is a possibility. I must say that I know about as much about elven culture and elven motive as you do, or anyone else here that's unfamiliar with it, to be honest. I was raised by a couple of old humans, my grandparents.
So you don't even speak Elvish?
No. I know a few words, mostly curse words.
Alright, well, it's definitely something we can kind of keep in mind.
I mean, they could treat me differently. I don't... Anyway. Yes. We definitely should discuss it with the others. I think everyone can be trusted here.
You guys come up with a good point about the elves. Now, the thing that gets me about them and their worship up there is that their king isn't even an elf, as far as we were told, right? This King Nicholas, I mean.
I don't remember.
Beats me.
He was definitely not an elf.
Strange king.
Jessup described him as a monstrous type individual, much larger than a normal man.
Okay. Yes, I'm not sure how they've taken on something or someone as a king that isn't an elf. Maybe he holds great power over them somehow.
The demon Ixie said that their king fell from the sky.
It could be another demon.
That's kind of what I'm wondering.
Would my character have any kind of arcane idea about something like that?
Make a folklore roll. It's gonna be hard. Set your difficulty to hard and make a folklore roll.
Could I roll one also, since we're basically having the same conversation?
Yeah, if you have folklore, go for it.
I do, yes.
Ooh.
Wow, passed by one.
Boy, yeah, Everest. being the elf, you must know more about this sort of stuff. You actually don't have a rank in folklore, but you made it either way.
It's because my peril.
Oh, you didn't, yeah, because you haven't adjusted for that yet, have you? Okay. So you do have a rank in
Left yet.
folklore, though, so you're okay then.
Yeah.
Because it auto-corrects on those for the peril. So you do make your roll, and you make it either way, even with the peril. You know that according to folklore, there was once a race called the Nephilim, who are essentially giants that used to live in the sky. And that
I know this, or he knows this.
Everest has heard of these tales.
Okay, I'm basically go in whatever elaborate, wordy, fancy fashion explaining this.
The ogres took down the Nephilim's castles in the sky, and they fell to they supposedly fell to the ground.
Quite the interesting story, isn't it? Basically, just imagine we're having story time in our bunk.
Everest is telling everyone a bedtime story about giant-ass monsters that fell out of the sky.
And it took about 10 times as long as it took him to tell it, because my character just runs his mouth. Speaking of, if I'm ever just rambling, it's because I'm playing my character, and you feel free for NPCs to just interrupt me, because it's kind of what's meant to happen.
It's all right.
To interrupt me. All right, but yeah, so everyone gets a nice elaborate tale. But let's discuss the important things. I personally don't trust a damn person in this town, so who's taking watch first?
Oh, I'll do it. I'll start.
Excellent. I believe we need at least 3 of us, which in my head means everyone but me. Just about.
I'll stay up as long as it's all right if I take a look at this book.
You can do whatever you want. I'm personally not afraid of your abilities.
Speaking of which, you should probably be the one to hold this. And Nigel hands over the necklace.
He hands it to me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm going to say that Everest he's been with a lot of wealthy, powerful people throughout his life. It's probably some very inappropriate relationships, so he's probably actually been witness to some magic before, which is why it doesn't scare him like it does all these.
Well, there are people who do certain amounts of petty, like small magic in Huttenberg. It's,
Gotcha.
You get into these small towns, and sometimes their belief system's a little different.
Yeah, a little. Just a nudge more towards the pyromaniac side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm a little more. Plus, my grandparents were open-minded, I imagine. So this whole witch thing's just so ridiculous to my character. I don't know if anybody else in the group feels weird about having a cultist in their party. But I'm fine with it.
I mean, Nigel's seen some pretty nasty stuff dealing with magic before, so he might feel differently, but
it's pretty nasty.
I'm from the big city, so...
Yeah, Valandria has magicians on every street corner. Like, it's no big deal there.
I don't know, Fromsburg wasn't that small. Just got this guy who had wacky notions that gnome meat was magical. I don't...
Delicious.
Alright, well, if you guys got your watches set up, you guys can all begin to get your good night's rest and restore your peril back to whatever the highest rank there is. The first one, I think it's unperiled or whatever it is.
Unhindered.
Unhindered, that's it. Your guys' watches go off without a hitch. There's no problems. You're not getting assaulted in the middle of the night or anything. You guys' peril will be restored. You all will heal 1 more health level back up from resting overnight.
Excellent.
So that'll put most of you close to back to where you're...
Yeah, I'm back now.
Yeah, should be mostly back. I think Nigel's the only one with a lingering wound at this point. Not an injury, but just a wound.
If I recover 1 overnight and then I take the laudanum in the morning, I'm down to unharmed again.
Yeah, that's what I figured would be the case. But then you're done with your laudanums for the day. Then you're just starting out the morning
Correct.
with one, and you can't take any more today. So
Best
just
part
keep
of
that in
waking
mind.
up, opiates in your cup.
Let's say laudanum in your cup.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like opiates.
For viewers who are maybe unfamiliar with Zweihander, laudanum is an opiate. So you do take a corruption for it. So if you take your laudanum, you will take your corruption.
Let's just be real what it is here. Let's not give it
Yeah.
fancy names like laudanum.
Yeah, it's opiates. If you take more than one
That
in a
was the
day's
original
time,
name.
it actually does a health level of damage. So,
It's
it's
rough.
so we're starting on a new day, and of course the first thing we do on any new day in Zweihander is we roll initiatives. So let's go ahead and get that initiative roster figured out.
Is that 10-sider?
A 10 plus your initiative mod, which is on the second tab, the Talents and Trappings tab.
So mine's a 10 altogether.
Nigel got a 13 total.
Show off.
If you guys access your die roller, there's one, the advanced die roller at the bottom. It's actually pretty easy for putting in dice rolls and
They got it.
modifiers. And
Well, they almost all
I
did.
know. I'm just letting them know. That's a little
I
tip.
appreciate you. All right, let's.
You obviously don't have to use it. I'm just saying. It's handy. All right. Especially because that's the only one without a button on the sheet.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why that one doesn't have one, but it'd be easy to had programmed in. But regardless, you only roll it once per session, so at least you don't have to
Yeah,
like.
that's true.
As you go multiple combats, you keep the same initiative all day long. So, again, I'm starting
Yeah,
you
you're
guys
lazy.
out before we move on to anything else. Story wise, again, I did leave you guys on the Web of Conspiracy chart. And just to recap it for our viewers, you guys currently have Jessup as one of the masterminds of the problems going on around in the town. And you guys put poor Lawrence Dauncey up there for some reason. And I don't think we've ever figured out how they got there, how he got there. But
Yeah.
he's...
Now that we're on this sheet, I hate to interrupt, but I have to say this or I'm going to forget it. Did you say that the guy's son, who we didn't hear about until just now, is a part of the medical profession?
Yeah, he's a barber surgeon.
Dude, I bet he is that freaking plague doctor dude. I bet they're the same guy.
You think his
Like, hold
son's
on,
the
I'm
plague
just-
doctor?
How old's his son?
Well, his son... Okay, hold on. We'll go to that chart. This is a good point to bring that up.
I mean, that's just me. I think so. I'm just calling it. He's in a mask. I don't know who he is. We just now heard about him. His name sounds crazy. There's no way his parents gave him that name. I mean,
Okay,
So, like-
so down here you see the Mars family. There's Mortimer is that guy right there,
screen of mine.
and that's Mason. Oh, I didn't move you guys. Hold on, I moved the. Everybody at home can see, but I didn't move you guys. Hold on.
That's why I was confused. I was like, I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know. I hate to interrupt, but I that's just one of those, like, I feel like I figured out the plot maybe slightly in some slight regard. And if I don't
What
say
if-
it now, I'm gonna
What if
forget
I told you you're only half right?
it. Only half right? Okay,
You are
that's-
actually barking up the right tree, almost.
Oh, that's good. Almost. Hey, that's a good tree.
So this down here is the Mars family, the couple that are represented on there, and you see he has two sons. He has Mason that's there below him, and Mortimer that's off there to the right. And Mortimer is the oldest son, but nonetheless, he is the one who went to Huttenberg.
Mhm.
So that's
Who
him right
else went
there.
to Huttenberg?
Winston
Someone else?
Dappamore, Jessup's son, also went to Huttenberg.
It could be him.
Philip Brown went to Huttenberg, but you guys saw him leave, so he just recently left.
Things
it's
point
either-
back to Jessup a little bit.
Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I know if maybe the identity of Vitronius is not like maybe super crucial, but I don't know, just interesting. I hate to slow us up. So anyway, we can move on like you were doing. I'm sorry.
So you guys sleep overnight. I can move you if you are done looking at this page. I can move you back to the other one in case you want to do anything with it real quick before we move on. But
I'll go for it.
if you need any other information, I know it's been a long time since we'd played. Some of those sessions are several months ago. So if you have any questions about any of the NPCs, feel free to ask me, and I'll let you know what you know at this point.
Gotcha. Somebody help me bark the rest of the way up that tree, because I'm really bad with puzzles. So if you just help me get on the next branch, that'd be good.
I think Meraki's better at that. I'm not so good at that unless I can. I don't know.
Yeah, well, me and you. That's what I was telling him. Unless it's like a visual puzzle where I just move shapes.
Now, Terrence Mars, the barber surgeon, you guys have him listed as a henchman at the moment in this little plot that you're working on. So he is.
To be honest, there's so many different people that we don't know enough about that I'm completely lost as far as the puzzle's concerned. I'm just rolling with it.
And if for whatever it's worth, Jessup's son, the scholar that went to Huttenberg, is also listed as a henchman at the moment as well. So if you think he's involved, he is currently listed as a henchman as well. So again, I'm going to leave you guys on this thing between games. You can continue to ask questions between games as well. I don't want to take up too much game time on it here, but if you do have a quick question, you do want to make a quick change here on your conspiracy web moving into the trial, this would be a good time.
Pretty fair to leave him as a henchman, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to fall, or someone to accidentally reveal themselves, or to out themselves as the enemy, because I'm not very good at this. It's been so few and far between game sessions that I've completely lost track. And Nigel's not an investigator, so it's not like I don't feel much hope for having this unraveled.
I'm gonna help you out a little bit. Lawrence Dauncey is way too young to have been a mastermind of any of these problems, so we'll just move him out. I don't know how he ever got there, but we're just gonna slide him out of there.
Might have been me.
I'm definitely backing Jessup. Jessup has been one of those guys who's just like...
His name gets mentioned on every single thing.
I'm pretty sure I put Lawrence Dauncey there under Mastermind as a joke like ages ago and never moved him.
We have never figured out how he got there, but he's been removed. So I feel bad seeing poor Lawrence sitting there like he masterminded something that happened when he was 4 years old. So,
you never know, man. 4 years
child. Yeah, just
all right.
Doesn't seem
Since
right to me.
Since we're on the subject, okay, so who are the two people that have moved away to Huttenberg?
Okay, so that is Mortimer Mars and Winston Dappermore are the two notable ones. There's been a ton of people, but those are the two that you've met their families and you've heard from their families about it. You know that Winston Dappermore, Jessup's son, left after a disagreement with Jessup.
Okay, there's Winston.
He's already listed as a henchman on there, so he's already on the...
Anybody who's no longer in town, let's just move them. We don't have really, like, parking space for them. Is there a spot that's just for not suspects?
I put Mortimer right there next to... If you think somebody is completely not a part of it at all, I'll take their chip completely off the board.
I'm just trying to eliminate people. Like,
yeah, if you want anyone eliminated, I'll take their chip completely off the board.
Yeah, let's eliminate the two people that, like we just mentioned, that moved away to Huttenberg. Just X, or just put like an X through them on their token.
Okay, I'll X them.
All right.
Maybe. Those two moved to Huttenberg a while back.
Okay, now who on this page was too young to have done anything way back when?
I will put... I'll X them out too.
Well, we just put next through all these useless people.
Those are all the younger people in town that probably were not old enough to have been involved at the time.
Cool. That's helpful.
Okay, I feel like the suspect list is slightly more manageable now. Okay, let's resume. I don't want to like bore
Nope, that's
everybody
okay.
by just
That's fine.
obsessing over it too much.
I think we have a fair amount of people who've been viewers that have made comments over time about what they think is going on as well. So this is not necessarily completely invaluable time to them either. So
Okay.
So when you go to the family tree, which I posted in Discord, and if I leave it on here for you, anyone who was of that young age bracket, or anyone who's of the adult age bracket, is probably too young. So if you're talking about something that happened 25 years ago, when you think of age categories, like they would have to be at least middle-aged or elderly to have been old enough at the time to have conspired something devious, if you will.
So at the very least, they would not be the mastermind category. They could be
At least.
henchmen.
Right. They could have been henchmen or accomplices at best.
Like in the continuing experience conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. So you guys go through your 3 shifts or 4 shifts, however many you decide to set up. You've restored your peril. You're healed back up. Nigel, you took your laudanum.
Yep. I marked it off.
You've recorded your corruption for doing so. Nothing like starting out the day with one corruption.
Just one, yeah.
Yep, 1 for taking it.
Just one.
Just 1. And as the sun comes up in the morning, you see the people of Treefell start to emerge from their cabins and their homes, and everyone starts to kind of make their way towards the church. And you see, and they don't have cuffs, but tied up, you see Herbert Brown leading his sister-in-law, Alice, to the church as well.
This is for her trial, probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, because I was kind of studying my book a little bit. Did anything come of that?
You've studied those spells that are in there. If you want to make an education roll, I'll give you a chance to maybe ask a question or two that you might want to know something about.
Okay, hold on. What level difficulty?
Standard.
$48.
Oh, you just made it. I'll give you a question. Do you have a question on something? Or do you want me to just try to give you like some useful piece of information? Or
Yes.
okay. So what you are reading from this book, this was the book that was found from the altar, and that temple was originally to the custodian. What you find in this book is I'm trying to think of how best to describe it. The first thing you noticed last session, and I gave you this already, was that there was a ritual in there to close a portal to the abyss. And that it was going to require a human sacrifice, which as a cultist you're kind of familiar with that because you do blood magic already.
Yeah.
So you get the idea that this book was written from a cultist sort of viewpoint because of the way the magics are listed in there. It's actually quite easy for you to kind of pick them up and read. You also discern in there that there is an additional ritual that would allow you to call forth a demon if you know its true name.
Oh my. And that needs a human sacrifice, right?
Yeah, well, the closing of one does. The opening of one requires the true name. Because that's calling a specific demon to your presence. So you have to know its true name, which can be a complicated process. But closing the portal was... Now, if you were to use a sacrifice, you would be able to automatically cast it. And for a ritual of that level, it would require a human sacrifice. The same, but you could attempt to cast it without a sacrifice. It would just run the risk of chaos manifestations. Alright, so I've moved you guys over here to the church. And I am going to remove Meraki, because she is not here.
Good, she's taking up too much space on the pew anyways.
Now you got more room, you can spread out. So, everyone take just a quick second, make sure you find yourself. Make sure you can move your token. I believe I've given everyone permissions on their token. This map is not gridded. That is on purpose, so that you can freely move to wherever you need to be on the map. You want to sit by Nadia, Nigel? Okay, you're good. You got it. Pretty much
I thought the rest of the party was over there. I didn't want to be alone.
I had you split up 3 and 3, but without Meraki, it's now Everest and Nadia on one side, and then Nigel, Zelina, and Hagen on the other side.
Oh, I can't even find myself. Oh,
Yeah.
I have a hat. That's all right.
And a fantastic scarf.
And the scarf.
Yeah.
The scarf is on there.
I see it.
Alright, so everyone slowly makes their way into the church that morning. And again, Alice is set up front next to the statue of the God Emperor. And you see Father Enoch, he's standing up there at the podium, at the altar. He has a bowl of water and a book and a small, like, sacrificial looking dagger sitting there on the pew, and he stands up there at the front and he says, "My brothers and sisters of Treefell, we have seen dark days come upon our village. If our hardships had not been enough from the shutting down of the mills and seeing our sons and daughters flee to Huttenberg over the years, we have now had heresy and witchcraft set upon us. And it is unfortunate that it seems like it's one of our most beloved who has been tampering with the abyss. Perhaps to see an old lover returned. But whatever it is, for whatever her motives and reasons are, she has revealed herself. Revealed herself to be a witch."
Nigel's going to raise his hand and kind of like clomp a boot on the floor. And just be like, don't mean to interrupt, but excuse me, is this a trial or not?
Do you have something you would like to bring up to the stand?
I'm just asking if this is a trial or not, because as far as opening statements go, you've already condemned this person. You've spoken nothing of justice or finding the truth. I'm just wondering what's going on here. What exactly is happening?
Yes, why even use the word trial? Why not just say We're burning a damn woman alive today. Come join us and revel in the violence.
Indeed, I know your party went to try to uncover some evidence to clear Alice's name. Were you successful?
There's a damn demon living there.
You hear
A
like a
demon.
hush goes over the crowd, and they all start whispering to each other. Demon.
Yes, an actual damn demon. It has nothing to do with your friend Alice here. If anything, it's the demon that should be burning at the stake. Why don't you all go charge at it with your pitchforks? See how you fare.
The old man in the front, Jessup, he stands up out of the front, turns around. He says, "That'll be enough talk of devils and demons."
Oh, okay.
Wait,
You asked
what?
You asked what we found, and we're telling you. We spoke with
So-
it.
You spoke with a demon.
Yes.
We saw one. It talked at us.
Yes,
You're
we
back
didn't
here
speak back.
alive.
Yes, we fled. I realize where I'm kind of getting myself, so I'm going to try and
So-
back out a little bit. Yes, we fled for our lives.
So Naughty is getting a little nervous and maybe taking a few steps away from Everett,
And
sitting down the bench a little
the
bit.
barber surgeon, Terrence, stands up. He says, "They came back into town late last night, and the bandages that they have are from wounds that I mended up, upon which they did confide in me that they'd found a ruined temple on the other side of the river." And everybody kind of looks at each other and, a lot of whispering amongst each other in the back. And you see the people in the back 2 rows there, designated by the little villager icons, the nondescript ones. Those are the same people, a lot of the same people who were pulling out their penance ropes. And they start kind of lashing at themselves as mentions of demons and everything residing just across the river are suddenly uttered in the church.
I'll kind of lean into Nadia. Do you see this madness? Do you see it?
So what you are telling us is that rather than go after a real threat, you're going to continue to accuse this woman who is a questionable threat?
There's never been any demons in Treefell. It was a quiet town before you arrived. And it's unfortunate that this whole time, one who can bend the winds of the aether have been here amongst us. It's sad already that poor Jessup, who already lost his wife to such heresy long ago, must now potentially also lose a daughter. If you think there is a greater threat, then provide your evidence now. Lest you get the whole town riled up.
What do we have? Like, what do we?
Well,
I look at you guys and I'm like,
Well, here's the thing. Your assertion that things only started once we got here is absolutely false. First of all, you already burnt somebody years ago. You still have the stake out there for it. Okay? And an undead threat came from here to Huttenberg. That's 2 counts of things not being right before we ever set foot on the road to come here.
And the only account we have that there was anything suspect in the death of Leonard Pinkston is your words.
No, you've got the bodies of abominations sitting out where we burned them. Physical evidence, not our word.
And the only one that saved us was Alice, the one you're trying to put on trial here. This faux trial.
if you do something to her or us, you'll just end up having to deal with the demon yourselves. We can help you to destroy it or not.
And exactly how do you plan to do that?
Well, we haven't really thought about that because we've been too busy dealing with this trial.
Which, come to think of it, is a very convenient distraction from cleaning up the town.
As Nigel says that, the place begins to rumble.
Like, the people are kind of like saying stuff, or physically?
Physically
Like,
rumbles.
Oh,
okay,
shit.
good.
A pink fire begins to erupt out of the center of the church.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
that's
fabulous
not-
color.
That's not normal.
Sorry,
Why
I gotta
are you
move it
sitting on
back
the
just a
other
little bit.
Any arcane stuff that I might be able to like?
You feel there's a strong presence of the aether, and the hairs on the back of your neck almost stand up because you're kind of sensitive to it.
Everest, get back here.
I'm safe. I go into the ethereal realm with my token. That means I'm safe.
And we are going to go to initiatives.
Yeah, me and
Ba, ba,
Nadia
ba.
totally moved from
Walking
that.
out of the pink flame, you see the ghostly-like apparition of Milton Fillibrand.
Maybe we could just ask him for a pint.
I think he might be a bad guy.
Oh, wait, this is the first time that we've actually identified that guy as Milton, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a revelation. All right. Like, ha ha!
The shadowy figure that you guys have been hunting down. You guys had, because of the necklace piece, you guys had suspected that it was Milton Fillibrand. Now he's
Right. Okay.
he's clearly deceased. He's clearly, you can see he's kind of incorporeal. Like, you can kind of almost see through him a little. Like, he's not completely there. And he does kind of hover above the ground slightly. And he has his shovel in one hand, and he raises his other hand, and the pink fire ignites in the back, and kind of in a small pulse out, as you see the parishioners who had been whipping themselves begin to drop to their knees in agony and horror, as their cat o' nine tails that they used to whip themselves begin to latch onto their arms and become long, writhing tentacles.
Yes.
Well, clearly we need to free the witch.
Yeah, and the necklace. Just maybe I could give that to her.
That's what I would do. Is she bound by any chance, or is she able to maneuver around?
She
Speaking
can
of
move, her hands are tied.
All right. Okay.
Can I use this distraction to get to her?
Can I give the
On
necklace
your
to you
initiative.
first? Yeah, let me. Yeah.
All right. So, top of the order is Everest.
Time to run and hide.
All right. So while that was erupting, was it okay that we moved our tokens kind of off to the side?
I'll
like
give
we
you
were
kind of a
backing
quick
up?
reaction move to get to where you were. If anyone else wants to take a quick reaction move, you have a number of feet that you can move, and if you use the little ruler, this thing will measure out. The entire room is 25 wide. Yeah, see how it shows like 5.5 feet? Like, you can measure how many feet you can move.
Can I? I'm not surprised either because of my thingy.
Yeah, you have danger sense, so you're not surprised at all. You can definitely... there's no one getting the surprise attack rounds on anyone. This whole showy thing going on here has made it to where no one's getting surprise rounds. It took too long for these things to mutate and transform to...
You got it. Do we have our gear? Or is it
The ruler, Georgie, on the little icon thing over there on the left, is down in the middle, the circle with like the little ruler looking thing on it. That, if you click that and then you click and drag, it'll show you distance.
I just want to get the necklace
Change it to no snapping.
Okay. So
one.
it's Everest's turn first. There's no surprise round, so we're starting at the top of the order. So Everest, what was you got 3 AP.
Give me 1 second. I need to turn up. She's microphone. Barely hear.
I just moved it closer to my mouth too.
Okay, that helps.
There you go.
All right. There you go.
So
Alright,
you'll definitely get an opportunity to run it up there because you're on the right side with her. So we'll deal with that on your turn here. But Everest, what's your first action going to be? You currently don't have any weapons drawn.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if we had them on us, or are they like?
You have them
stacked
on
in the
you.
corners?
Nobody
Okay.
walks around completely unarmed in this kind of setting. So you would have
Got
it on
it. Okay, I would like to use 1 AP to draw my bow, and then I would like to use 1 AP to shoot. Or I'm going to use 1 AP to aim, and then I'm going to use 1 AP to shoot.
Yep, so you draw, load, aim, and shoot. So that gives you an extra 10.
Yep.
And are you
Yep.
targeting... Who are you targeting? You got a target-rich
The one-
environment.
The one that just can't... The main-looking guy there. I'm just going
Now, you can see through him at the moment, sort of. He's kind of a
Never
ghostly
mind.
image.
Never mind, thank you for the heads up.
I said it, I just want to make sure you heard it.
That guy instead. The one I just clicked. The edge of the pew here.
The nearest one? The red,
Yeah.
red, purple dot? I've dotted them all differently so you can designate which one.
Red, purple.
Alright, red, purple it is. That is a critical.
Nice.
And you rolled a 6 and a 1. Now, I gave you,
Yeah.
one thing I did do today is I did restore all the fortune to you guys. You're starting out with all 7. So would you like to spend 1 to maximize the other die from a 1 to a 6 and then roll again?
Yeah. That's what I was just about to do. Alright. So that is... Let's see. 12 plus 5, so 17. 21 damage total? Is it? Yeah.
So, yeah, 21 damage total. And that will put him... That'll take him off the map already. You killed him in 1 shot.
Wow.
Go ahead and describe what this shot does when you let it go while I get him marked off.
Alright, I sort of draw my bow and knock the arrow, and I close one eye and get a good sight on him, and then a smirk crops up on my face, and the arrow comes whisking by this Nadia and what is that guy? I can barely read it. Mason.
Yeah, Mason Mars.
Mason. Okay, so yeah, it just whisks right between their heads and kind of alarms them and nails this guy right in his throat.
Alright, so it goes right through his throat and he drops to the ground and just slumps over in the pew. Alright, so that takes us to the Corrupted Fanatic's turns.
I'm just gonna say, I suppose my elven blood affects my aim after all.
And so the first one here takes off, and he is going to use his tentacles to lash at Terrence Mars.
Better Terrence than me. Ooh,
And he
that's good.
grabs the old man and yanks him over the pew down onto the ground in a takedown maneuver. So Terrence is down on the ground. The second one moves. I think it's space.
I like the custom map, by the way.
Say what?
I said I like your custom map, by the way.
I do all custom maps because I can never find one that does exactly what I want it to do.
I have a lot of those like token packs that are just like little like doors, walls, and stuff because I love messing around.
All right, so going down here in order. Those first two just move. They're not in range to be able to do anything else. The ones over here on this side, though, one is gonna run up and use its tentacles to lash at Nigel.
Ah!
And that's gonna hit.
Ouch!
Would you like to spend an AP to parry?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and make your parry roll.
I can find it. It's been a while since I've even looked at this sheet.
Yeah, it's on the second tab, talents and trappings page. You'll find a dodge and you'll find a parry, and this is parry because it's melee.
Oddly, I'm not fine. Hold on. No, it's not on talents trappings. This is on skills, right?
No,
No,
it's on talents and trappings.
Go down a little bit.
Should be on the right side, about
I see. I gotcha.
right above the health track, I think.
Do I have a situational modifier here?
It's just standard.
Okay.
Hey, you parry. So he goes to hit you, and he does not hit you. The second one is going to take its swing at Zelina,
Ah,
and it misses. And I only got one misfortune, so I'm going to hold on to my misfortune for the moment. Next one takes a swing at... Ooh, is that close enough to hit? Nope, it misses also. It's trying to latch onto Bartholomew over there, who is frantically trying to draw his weapon. And that's it for the corrupted fanatics, so that'll bring us to Hagen.
It's time to go Batman on these guys.
Well, actually, I'm going to pull out one of my knives and run up to Alice there and cut her free.
Okay, so spend your first AP to move to Alice. Go ahead and you spend your second AP to cut. That leaves you one more.
Help her up.
And I'll hell no, I'm gonna leave that for
Her
my
legs.
defense. You're free now, lass. Zelina's got your necklace. Put it to good use.
Okay, so you got her cut free. Are you saving your last one to parry or do anything else with?
Parry. I'm saving it.
Okay, so you save your last one. Nigel, you're 13. You're next. The guy in the pew behind you just grew a tentacle arm and has tried to grapple you with it.
Oh wait, these were all villagers.
They were villagers. The
I
corrupted
thought
people
they came
who
through
had
the portal.
No, the corrupted people who had been lashing themselves all dropped to the ground, and their arms began to sprout tentacles, and they still have the lash marks on them from where they've been lashing themselves.
I still blame the priest, but all right. I still blame Father Enoch, but I'm gonna fight the immediate threat. I guess I'm gonna try to attack the one that just attacked me. I guess
That'd be a good place to start.
I just realized I used this art that you're using for these tentacle arm dudes for like a superhero character I played one time. He was like really gnarly, obviously, as you can see.
You wouldn't think it would be hard to find a good one tentacle-armed warrior, but it was harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's a critical success.
yes.
All right, roll 2d6 and then add your CB to it. You guys are on fire today already.
Yep. I've got 4 arrows left.
Okay,
I
so
better
you
be-
got 5 plus your CB, which I believe is a 5.
What is my CB? That's
Your
combat bonus?
Yep.
Yeah, that is a 5. Yes.
So you're at 10. That would be enough to do a couple levels of damage to him. Or you can spend one of them their fortunes to make one of them there a 6. We can move on.
What does the 6 do?
If you take the 2, for instance, and make it a 6, then you're at 4 additional, which would put you at 14, and you get to roll another 6. Or another d6 to add also.
We're already in fire. Let's go ahead and add momentum. Yeah, let's do it.
Alright then. So you're now at 6 and 3 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14 plus a new d6. So roll yourself a new d6.
So that's a 4?
That's a 4. So you're at 18, which is enough to do 3 health levels of damage, and they already start out with 1 marked. So that's...
Ignore that.
Okay, you have a mortuary sword. You need to roll 4d6s now to check for injury. That is not how you do an injury there. That's 1, 4, 1, and 2. You didn't roll a 6 on any of them. Alright, now, I mean, I'm not sure an injury is worth spending another fortune point at this point, but yeah, okay, so... Oops, not the whole bar.
So do we have, like, books in the pews, like hymnals or stuff, or is it just, like...
Yeah, there
way
is
too-
up in the pew in front of you, so...
Throw
If
a
you-
religious book.
So you've
I was
got...
thinking
That was
about
your first
using it
AP.
as a-
You still have 2 more AP. Actually, you spent 1 to parry. You have
Oh.
1 more AP.
Okay, I completely forgot what I can use AP for. I'm going to use, what's that thing that you do to inspire other people?
Inspiring words.
I'm going to do expiring words. What do I roll for that?
Pulling up the combat list here. Inspiring words says you must make a leadership test. All allies equal to your FB add +1 to damage and peril thresholds once per combat. So if you succeed in this, then everyone will get their +1, and that'll be it.
Alright, here we go.
You do not succeed at your leadership test, so
Yeah,
no
it's
one
worth a
is
shot.
inspired. Whatever you can role play out here, what you say real quick, but apparently it did not help anyone in the situation.
Okay, so Nigel's just kind of starts in as he's attacking. It's like, all right, everybody keep a level head and just keep pressing on. We can do this. And then as he's speaking, like a tendril whips past his face and he goes, ah!
That's so perfect. Oh my god.
Totally interrupted.
Totally didn't work, did it? Okay, so Nigel, you are finished. That takes us to Nadia. Nadia, shit is going down here.
Yeah, it is. So I want to 1 AP to move. I don't know what the fuck.
Is this the only door over here?
Yeah, there's only one door.
Shit.
And I want to attack this blue dude. So I guess unsheath and then.
Yeah,
one
you've got a
attack.
fire hardened spear, so you have reach, so you can definitely reach from there if you want to make your melee attack. Now, did you want to charge? Holy cow!
No.
That's a critical hit. Well, I'll tell you what, you should charge.
Okay, let's charge.
So,
In my
cow.
knowing everything, wife. Yeah, let's charge.
So, okay, so you rolled a 2, so that's only 1 damage die. So you need to roll another d6 first. Oh, roll it again.
It exploded.
If
Oh,
I'm-
it
oh,
keeps
shit.
Oh,
exploding.
no,
Do it
no.
again.
You're rolling d6. You gotta roll 1d6. Damn it, Georgie.
Huh?
You just roll. You're gonna roll 6 every time if all you hit is d6. You have to roll 1d6, or else it
There
just
is no
puts the
one.
number.
It says 2.
Roll it again.
Oh, he's
the
hitting
way
the
you've been
button.
rolling.
Oh, is that the
no,
button?
Yeah.
He's just rolling good, man. Roll it
Holy
again.
Shit. Okay.
There we
Oh.
go.
Okay.
Bitch.
Holy shit. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry, Georgie. So
Done. Ruin my momentum.
9, that's 12 and 9's 21, that's 23, and if you charge, you get to roll another fury die. So roll me another fury die.
D6 then.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
25.
So at 25, you're going to slay that one.
You're welcome, old fucker.
Our pew
Holy cow.
is just like full of badasses.
Yeah,
like,
you guys just lit this thing up over here. So yeah, you go over there and just tell me what you do with this spear to this guy. This mutant.
Sorry, I shoved food in my mouth. So I'm charging at the dude, and I don't know. I just as I'm charging, I get some good air, leap at him, and shove the spear right through the middle of his forehead, right between his.
So spear right through the skull.
Yep.
And you hit him hard enough that it takes the head clean off, and you have his head impaled through your spear at the moment.
You should
there's
definitely
another
keep
AP.
that on there.
Right.
All right, so this brings us to Zelina, because I'm going to let you go before all the allies, because you have the same initiative.
Okay, my goal this round was to get the necklace to the person who is closest to the woman, or to try to get it to her myself.
Okay, you currently have a guy with some tentacles trying to wrap you up in his tentacles, so if you're going to make your move, you have to question if he has any AP left to do an opportunity attack.
I think I'm just gonna dodge, if anything.
You're just going to try to dodge the attack or parry the attack
Yeah.
if it comes?
Okay,
Okay, so you're going to spend at least, yeah, I'll let you can spend 1 AP to get up there to Alice.
Okay.
And you are fortunate he does not have AP left to actually opportunity attack you.
Yay!
So go ahead and move yourself up there to Alice. You spent 1 AP to dig out the necklace, we'll say. That leaves you with 1 left. What would you like to do with your 1 AP that's left?
Let me shrink this so I can see where everybody. Is that her right there? I can't
Yep,
quite read
that
the name.
is her.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her.
So tell me what the guy behind the podium's doing at this moment.
Father Enoch is standing there, kind of almost stunned at the moment, as his parishioners all just lashed out in tentacles. But it hasn't gotten down to his turn yet, so... Actually, we skipped his turn, didn't we? I forgot I gave him a different initiative, but...
What are the 2 tokens right behind me? The little cog and the little circle.
A little
There's a
cog.
flower. It's like a little flower or something. Right by the
This thing?
water pot. No, next to them.
I don't see anything next to him. Do you have your token selected? Yeah, that's because you have your token selected. That's for actions and like if you want to edit your token, stuff like that. So that's
Okay.
that's just because you have yourself selected. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything I can do too much that's gonna not attract attention.
Okay. So you want to hold on to it for
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
In case you get attacked or anything else, you can attempt to parry, or at this point you could also spend 1 more AP to draw a weapon if you have a weapon you want to draw.
Does Hagen have a weapon?
Hagen has throwing daggers. I don't know what he pulled,
Yep.
but
Dagger.
Okay, I'm just gonna give her the necklace and then probably move around Hagen if I can do that. Another move.
yeah, spend that last AP and you can hide behind Hagen.
Okay.
Okay, it is the allies' turn. So the first of the allies to take initiative is Lawrence Stancy, and he, being a militia man, he is, liching hours, spending 100. What are we doing? To fortune? You want to give them back some fortune? All right, Lich. They may need it. Though so far they've been on fire, so...
You sound disappointed.
It is what it is.
Well, he was expecting this to be a
Uh-oh.
bloodbath because Meraki's not here.
I see Oak is in the chat, Woda and Georgie. Someone who's been looking for some revenge for quite a while. So we're currently at, where was I? That was Lena's turn, so yeah, the ally. So Lawrence is the first to move. And he charges and takes this first one on with his shield and his spear. He strikes. And does crap damage, but he connects, so... He does not inflict an injury. We move on. Franklin Brown, who is Alice's husband, rushes up to his wife, pulls a rifle, and takes a shot at the second one behind the one that Lawrence is fighting. And misses wildly.
It's Lawrence.
No, it doesn't hit anybody. It wasn't a critical fail, so he just misses, but he's got to spend time reloading. Herbert Brown, who's the town's mayor, he rushes around the corner to try to aid Nigel. And with his mortuary sword, he misses as well. Willis Brown moves. His daughter moves. Mikhail charges around the other side to take this one on. He misses. Elsie runs this direction. Her mom, Margaret, stands up, pulls her crossbow, and takes aim at the one behind the one her husband's fighting. She connects. And last but not least is... Oh yeah, Mason Mars, he's not a combatant. He's gonna run. Jessup Dapmore, he pulls his sword and begins to say a prayer to the God Emperor as he begins to charge at the ghost. And that is the end of all of their turn. So that takes us to the back of the top of the order. As your allies were completely worthless.
Yeah. Well,
Everest?
I understand what it's like to be worthless. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Alright, cool. I just making sure I was pressing the right button on my mouse. Okay, so I am going to stay right there, because it's not a bad position. And I'm going to try and I'm going to aim with... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and aim with 2 and fire with 1.
Okay.
Shooting this one near Nadia. That's still up.
The one that's still up. Okay. That is not a hit.
I would like to reload that, re-roll that with a fortune point.
With your
if you guys
fortune?
are okay with that.
Alrighty.
I have a 72% chance to pass, so it's not a bad.
Yeah, with 2 aims, you should be, yeah.
Oh my!
That's a
God.
critical fail, which you can't do, right?
Yeah. Oh, because I'm a fop. That's right.
Because you're a
All right.
fop.
So I just failed.
So you just failed.
All right. Ah, yes. Oh, darn! I nearly broke the string. Look at that. It's all fine. Anyway, carry on.
Time for the corrupted fanatics' turns. Oh, I forgot Milton. So at the beginning of this turn for corrupted fanatics, the ghost, he turns and looks at Father Enoch and he points at him. And he said, and you hear this unhallowed voice say, "What is rightfully mine?" And he points at him. And you see Father Enoch drops to his knees, and tentacles begin to sprout all out of his back and out of his arms.
I knew it. I knew it. Called it.
He's been a pawn the whole time.
Who would have thunk it?
Literally everyone.
No, that's the joke, Georgie. It was a joke I made. Oh, good
Wait.
lord, he
Oh
expanded.
shit! You got
I missed
bigger.
what?
He really let himself go.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-oh. Everybody's in the corner, though. That's good.
It's all that communion wine. It's too sweet, you know? Just makes you put on the pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take his... Well, he spends this round transforming, so the rest of the fanatics will move. That one that Everest missed reaches out for Nadia.
Thanks for identifying him based on my failure.
And misses with the tentacle.
Yeah.
And they, unfortunately, these guys are off the villager template, so they only get 2 AP, which sucks, because they can't do anything cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool with me.
The one on Lawrence is going to swing.
Oh, you're talking about our friends. Never mind. Yeah, that does suck.
No, I'm talking about the bad guys.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
He connects. Take a box off Lawrence. Lawrence has to resist takedown. He does not. So this first tentacle one, he grabs hold of Lawrence and he slaps him with the tentacle and drags him down to the ground. And the second one moves over and takes its dagger and is going to make an attack on him while he's down. I'm going to re-roll this one. That's better, because that's 2d6 worth of damage, too.
Haha. That's what you get.
Does not inflict injury. All right. The next one over is going to be the one on Nigel. And he is going to once again attempt to try to tentacle you to the ground.
Hey, you get away from me. Your wiggly bits.
He hits. Would you like to spend one of your AP to parry for this round? You have 3 new ones.
Yes. I'd
All
like
right,
to
then.
do that.
Go ahead and make your parry roll.
Yeah, boo.
Would you like to spend one of the fortune to re-roll that parry?
Nah, I just spent a fortune last time.
You'll take 9. So check your damage threshold, see if that moves you down 1. Probably does 1.
My damage threshold is 8. Although, well, actually, no, my BB plus DTM is 8, and then I have a 14, 20, and 26.
Yeah, so that first level, the 8, that's how much they have to do to take 1 health level from you. Those subsequent boxes is how much they have to do to take 2, 3, or 4 in one shot.
Okay, that leaves me lightly wounded, but I don't take a wound from that.
You need to.
I think. Well,
you
let
need
me
to
double
make.
check.
You need to make a standard coordination roll to resist being taken down. Oh, you just succeed. You do not get taken down to the ground. So you keep your feet. even though he did lash out and strike you across the back with a tentacle. It's trying to wrap around as it strikes to take you down, but it didn't happen. So you're fine for the moment. The next one is going to lash out at Herbert Brown, who's come to your aid. And Herbert takes a level of damage. And he's taken to the ground. The one on Bartholomew misses. The one on Mikhail. Nope, he misses too. So let's move the ones in the back now up. This one hops the bench and comes rushing towards Herbert Brown. He'll strike. He's on the ground, so that's 2d6 damage. Herbert takes another level. Oh, if only Meraki was here to kill everything, right? Well, you guys have done a good job so far without her.
Yeah.
Meraki who?
You got a second one now on you, Nigel.
Yay.
36 will hit. You want to parry again? Oh, you've already parried once.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to spend another AP to try
I
to
did parry once. Can I dodge?
No. Dodge is for ranged attacks only.
Okay, so I have to spend a second AP just to parry.
Yeah. We shall leave you with one when it's your turn.
Nice.
Critical success.
Does that hurt them?
You know what? Do you have a shield?
Not on me, no.
Not on you? So you're
I mean, unless I was allowed to bring it into the church. I mean...
Yeah, you can bring it.
Then, yeah, I would.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Go ahead and roll a d6. Oh, roll again.
Keep rolling sixes. Oh.
What's your CB? 5, right? Yeah, you do it.
Correct.
Nice. A shield bash him in response to parrying and hit him for a
So
level
yeah,
down.
you critically parry, and when you do, you beat the tentacle away, and your edge of your shield just kind of rips into it a bit. Actually, quite a bit. We got a couple more to move. Okay. This one's gonna lash at Nadia. That's a hit. Nadia?
Uh-huh.
Are you going to parry?
Uh-huh.
Spend your AP to parry. You successfully parry. So you bat the tentacle away and it does not harm you.
I do work.
That one's going to move into position in case someone takes Nigel down. And that'll bring us to the end of the Corrupted Fanatics. Hagen, it's your turn.
All right. Man, I don't like my position here. Now, all of a sudden, and I don't like it over there by Nigel either. Okay, I'm going to step out towards the pew there, and I'm gonna take the dagger that I have and toss it at the big Father Enoch. That guy deserved it.
You're going to attack Enoch? Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to use 1 AP for aim, and then
One to
go
throw.
at it.
Okay.
All right, do I add 10% or something?
Yeah,
I
you can
forget
put
how
it
to
as a modifier, or you can adjust the difficulty to routine. Either way, it does 10.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
That's a hit, and you doubled up on damage. You rolled a 6, so you're up to 16 damage. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
6 out of 4. So yeah, you're up to 16 damage just base. You can explode the other 6 if you want to re-roll it again for a fortune point.
Let's do it.
Okay, so spend a fortune, re-roll that other 6. I'll add 2. You're at 18 plus whatever you roll. 18.5 is 23. Ooh. That hurt. Okay, so your throwing knife has fast. Foes are at 10% to dodge or parry.
Yep, less 10%.
Finesse, uses throwing. It's weak. It's incapable of grievous wounds. Okay, that's what I need to see. He's going to attempt to parry. Actually, he can't. He has to dodge. I'm sorry. What's his dodge rating? Okay. He fails to dodge. Boy, I've only got one misfortune. Alright, we'll take it. Roll 2d6 to see if you inflict an injury.
You say 2d6?
Yeah. You pushed him to moderately wounded. So, nope, neither of those are 6s. Unless you want to spend a fortune.
I'm good. I already spent one.
Wait, which thing are you? Did you check? I missed it. Was it this thing or?
Yeah, big red thing.
You should totally enter. That's just me. But do what you want. That's what it is.
It's up to you. You've spent one.
Screw it. I'm going to do it.
I vote for you to be able to spend it and
Ever
get an injury through on it. It could really help.
Do it. What do I have to do now?
Okay,
Well,
so
a
you're going
D100.
to inflict a moderate injury. So roll me a D100. See, I told you I needed that injury chart.
Yes, that's pretty good.
A 78. Man, that is a good one. I gotta bring the book closer so I can read this whole description. You have
been noted. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You have strained its groin.
Yes, it's perfect.
Until fully recuperated, you cannot use any movement actions besides take cover or walk in combat. So he is stuck where he is.
That's beautiful. See, I told you that was going to come in handy. Spending that.
So you've effectively immobilized him. The knife just cuts right through the tendons on his still human-like legs. You can't really see him in the token, but the legs are still like humanish. And so it severs something down there that makes him incapable of really doing anything but just standing there.
Damn it, I was aiming for his head.
Yeah, well.
Well, he got taller.
Even
Alright.
as a monster, men and still are easily.
It is his
down.
turn, and while he cannot move, he has plenty of reach to grab Franklin Brown. And he does so.
Like Franklin Brown's problem.
He resists, though, and does not get taken to the ground. So that's 1 AP. He can't use an AP to move. So his second AP is going to be a leadership role for Litany of Hatred. No, that's Inspiring Words. Litany of Hatred's a different one. Hold on.
Yeah. Either one sucks for us.
Litany of Hatred is Intimidate test. Foes equal to FB suffer -1 damage and perish threshold. It is the counter to. 83. That is a fail. So he, in some sort of slithery, nasty sounding, unhollowed voice that comes out of this mass of tentacles is where his head kind of used to be. You hear words forming, but you can't really make them out, so they don't seem to have much of an effect, apparently. And that'll be the end of his turn. Because he tried to parry once and failed. He attacked and he can't move. So that'll bring us down to Nigel. You are in a sea of shit, Nigel. What are you going to do?
What are the... Okay, I'd like to try to organize some narrative action here.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but I'd like to shout to the guys in this pew with me. I'm assuming we're kind of like fighting over the back of the pew, right?
Yeah, at the moment.
So I'm going to be like, all right, gentlemen, on 3. And I hop down and make like I'm about to kind of kick the pew into these 4 or 5 guys.
Okay.
And I'm just going to be like, I'm going to fend off this dude from interfering while I do so. So I'll
Make an a leadership test. And if you do so, I will spend AP of the other 3 people, and we will consider it a table throw, like an improvised ranged weapon.
Cool. All right, let's see if I can pass that leadership test. Where is it? There it is.
All right. So those 3 will use a reaction pool, essentially, to burn an AP to join you. And go ahead and... They're right there. You can't really miss them. So let's just call this like a template that they're caught in. They will each make toughness tests to resist. Actually, we'll make it coordination. I'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coordination rolls to hit the 5 that are up against the back of the bench.
Okay, should I make like an athletics check to... Or wait, am I making a coordination to hit them, or...
No, all 4 of you are working together, so you can flip the pew, no problem. So we're going to treat it as just it's not a matter of hitting them, because they're literally right there. It's just a matter... Right. It's more like an AoE takedown.
And as part of this, I will encourage them to kind of like...
Okay.
Backtrack towards Hagen.
The 2 nearest to you, who must have been somehow keen to what was going on, they managed to avoid the bench as it flips over. But the other 3 down there are gonna get hit by it. So go ahead and roll me the D6 Fury die. And add your CV to it.
I believe my CV... What is my CV?
Should be 5. Combat bonus. I think we covered that earlier, that you're a 5 combat bonus.
CB. I thought you said CV for some... Anyway, 5, no. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so you go ahead and you guys jointly flip the pew at them, literally, and those 3 over here on the end are pinned down underneath it. So they're going to have to spend their AP on their next turn just getting back up.
Okay. And yeah, I'll encourage the guys to kind of follow me back to the other pew here as like a defensive action after they help kick it over.
We're just putting little marks on them so I remember. Alright, so yeah, you got them and then you retreat back?
Yep, or at least I backpedal a little bit. I don't know how much movement I'm really allowed here.
Your movement rating tells you how far you can move. And you've got a bum leg, if I remember right, don't you? Veteran's boot?
Yeah, it's mostly I can't run or
charge. You
charge.
can't do the charge maneuvers, so you still get to move your movement worth of feet. So, like I said, if you use a little ruler thing, you can kind of gauge how far out that is. Like, you've only moved about 2 feet, and I'm guessing your movement's probably like 6 or 7.
Okay, I'll try to make it around the end of the pew then here.
Yeah, you can make it around the end of the pew. All right. Nadia, it's your turn. Did we lose you, Nadia? Georgie?
No.
Okay. I was like, I think we lost him.
Sometimes I drink a few beers and get sleepy too, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. I'm gonna attack the dude to try to. Well, one of the dudes to try to attack me.
The one to your left, or do you want to go after one of the new ones?
No, the blue dude. I think there's more. I can't see it though. Yeah, the blue-green dude.
Okay. Make your attack roll.
Well, you know.
That's a miss, unless you want to spend another one of them beautiful fortune points.
Is it what, 3-3 now?
You guys have 4, I have 3. There's 7 total.
Yeah, sure, why not?
That's the spirit.
Just roll the spear again. Yes.
Correct.
No,
Correct.
Yes.
Yep, you just make the attack roll again.
Don't trust me.
That is still a miss.
Okay, I'm done.
Are you
Epic
going?
failure.
Okay. You still have.
I'm sorry.
You still have 2 AP. You can attempt a perilous stunt. You can attempt a litany of hatred. Nobody's successfully done one of those yet. An inspiring words. Or you can just take cover.
Let's try an inspiring words.
Okay, that's a
Swear to
leadership
God, it
test.
passes. Oh, wait, hang on. I got that.
That one's flipped to fail.
That one's flipped to fail if you don't have it. I don't remember if you do or
Yeah,
not.
let's probably not do that one.
Litany of Hatred's Intimidate, which isn't flipped to fail.
Yeah, anybody can intimidate.
Let's be scary. Let's intimidate. What was that?
It's just a standard intimidate check.
Litany of Hatred, and then
Yeah.
equal to your...
You reduce their peril threshold and all that stuff.
see if it passed first. Nope. Okay.
Nope. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
not scared.
Didn't work either. All right.
I'm done.
So that'll bring us to Zelina.
Yes.
You feel the hair all over your body standing on end, as you can feel the magic radiating from all these people.
So
things.
am I pretty sure that the guy behind the podium is a demon, or is he just transformed?
He's a
corrupted?
mutant.
Damn it.
They've been mutated by the powers of chaos.
Okay. And at this point, I don't give a crap if anyone thinks I'm a witch at this point, because everybody else is corrupted.
Ooh, are you going to play with one of your new toys?
So I'm going to need to look at it real quick.
Honestly, if there's any of us left and we all survive this and they try to kill you, I'm just gonna start slaying everybody. I don't care.
Right.
It's just
Everest the fop trying to kill them. Be like, please, sir, will you please die?
What you going
yeah,
for?
whatever.
Well, shoot.
I killed that one guy with a headshot, okay?
So, they're not undead, right? I can't do turn undead.
They're not undead.
What does final rest do?
That's under the prayers of the custodian, right? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, it says a greater prayer.
Oh, well, let me find it real fast. I was open to it earlier, so I should be able to find it pretty quickly. Here it is. Okay, final rest. It's any one person you can touch, so you will have to run up and touch something. You need a stake carved from ironwood driven into the unliving. Oh yeah, this is against undead.
Yeah, I think a lot of these things might be.
Yeah, some of the custodian stuff's about slaying undead. So,
What about dispel magic? Is that something I could do?
now
It's a
dispel
general
magic,
spell.
you've seen it work on mutated things before. It took care of the ticks. So the
Let's
question
give it a go.
now, so here's the deal. You aren't taking any other action this turn, so do you want to channel power? Channeling
Channel-
power gives you a higher % chance of this spell working. It starts out at routine because it's just petty magic. It's not a terribly hard spell to cast. But if you want to make sure that it goes through without having to spend fortune, you can channel power at the risk of 1 chaos die per to add 10 more to your... I don't know what your base incantation score is off the top of my head right now, but...
What's the... And I might get peril or I might get
No.
chaos?
You might get a chaos manifestation if anything goes wrong, but it would all but guarantee that it works.
My incantation is at 1 dot right now, but I have a will. It'd be like it's a 5 base, I think.
What's your willpower's actual score? The 40...
41.
So 41 and a 10 for the skill rank puts you at 51 to start. It's routine, so you're at 61% chance to start out. Now, for
does it
every
mean that there's
channel
there's a
power, you can increase by 10 more. So you can put yourself to 81% chance to dispel magic if you want to power up 2.
All right, let's do that.
All right, so then what'll happen is when you power up 2, you'll have to roll 3d6 to see whether any of them come up 6 to create a chaos manifestation or not.
Do I do my incantation first?
Yeah, you have to make the incantation roll first. Yep.
It's what's the difficulty now?
20% plus.
You 20% more, so you're up to 81%.
So it's easy now.
Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah, you're fine. You made it either way. It's actually, you were already at routine. You needed to move up 2 more.
So
it actually would have moved you to trivial, but
Sweet.
but you're fine. 27 is more than enough to cast it.
Okay, and now I rolled 3d6.
Roll 3d6.
Hope you roll low on all 3. Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
good. So
Good
no
job.
chaos manifestation. So for the first time in plain sight of anybody, you reach back and pull into the ether and begin to bring forth the blue winds of your magic and unleash a shockwave out from you. And I have to make rolls to
AoE
resist.
spray.
Let me read exactly what it says, but make sure I have this right. Yeah, it ends permanently. They're not summoned, so it doesn't work on them. So yeah, okay. So you cast this spell, and as you do so, Father Enoch begins to revert back.
Shit.
Does
That's
it get
handy.
smaller?
He's back down to normal size, but he's still all tentacly.
That's a good thing.
Step in the right direction.
We're less likely to have some death next to us.
Alright, and it is the rest of the allies' turns. So Alice is going to join in by attempting to dispel magic as well.
These dudes over here are screwed. On the right side.
And she casts dispel magic as well.
Don't forget her D6. Yeah,
She
course
maybe
you
didn't.
say.
She didn't power up necessarily.
She didn't power up, she just casted it regularly. And that will take care of them. These guys spent their AP to knock the thing down, so they're all going to take their attacks on the guys who are pinned to try to finish them off. Oh, critical fail by Mikhail. That's no good. The other one hit. Ooh, he
What good is
exploded his.
Mickle anyway?
Oh shit! All right. So Herbert Brown, he actually, let's roll a d6. He's got to roll 3d6 to see if he. Actually, no, that's enough to kill it anyway. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to worry about injury.
Kill it. Kill it, old boy.
That one is
Yeah.
dead. The other two are still pinned, but they missed horribly. So Herbert Brown runs his mortuary sword into that one and just takes the tentacled arm right off of it as he kind of cleaves through it.
Sweet.
On this side, Lawrence Dauncey's on the ground. He's not in good shape. He's going to go ahead and spend his first AP to get up. And he's going to spend his second to try to run his spear through that green one. He does another level of damage to it. Oh, he does an injury. And that one gets a dislocated shoulder. So it only gets 1 AP a turn. That sucks. Jessup runs up to the next one. He swings wildly at it and misses. Old age must be setting in. Terrence Mars, the barber surgeon, he pulls a knife and tries to stab, but to no effect. He's not able to do anything. She's going to take her crossbow. She reloads it this round. And everyone else is hunkering down, so that's all the allies' turns. They're just a ton of help, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everest, it's back to you.
Okay.
Remember, Nigel had the guys that he was collaborating with kind of pull back, so they were out of harm's way at least for a round.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whether they were successful in following him
Yeah,
all
that's
the way.
fine. After
to
they
see
take
if
their
he
attack, they'll move back so that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't really get to decide where they go, but I did try to help them.
All right. I would like to.
They retreat back
Dive.
around.
I would like to dive over this pew and take cover. That's
Okay.
2 AP.
Yep. You got one more.
And then I would like to shoot this guy with one.
Go for it.
All right.
Whoa, look at that
damage.
exploding damage. Holy cow, you guys are on fire tonight. And tell me about your arrow killing this guy.
All right. I just, plant one right into his heart. It just drops him dead.
Boom. Heart shot. Drops him dead. Boom. He's down. Good shot, Everest. You're not so bad from ranged. As far as
Yeah, exactly.
when you're far away and you're not, you're feeling all right.
There's been about a dozen times this whole evening that I've considered just diving out of this window over here. So I don't know.
All right, so
There's
let's.
that training with Jackie.
Yeah.
All right, it's the corrupted fanatic's turn. So there's one over here on Nadia first, over on the far left. It hits. Nadia, you gonna parry?
Oh yeah.
Make that parry roll. That's not a parry.
Nope.
You take 4. Nope, sorry, 5. You take 5. Is that above your damage threshold?
Yep.
Take
No,
1.
sorry. It's below. It's below.
It's below? Okay.
Yep.
Resist coordination.
I've been messing up this whole time. It's supposed to have been costing me an AP to reload my bow.
I'm aware. I'm fine with it. Hey, you do not get taken to the ground. You haven't fully spent all your AP every round anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah, I'm just used to D&D and not thinking about
knock and fire every round, right? Some people like Chuck at Defenders of Cobalt. He doesn't play reload AP hardly at all. Unless it's like a gun that takes like 4, he doesn't worry about it.
Yeah.
So, that's fine. We will go ahead and then the second one, these other two are going to try to take Terrence Mars down. And they both fail horribly. Do I want to spend any... Yeah, let's do it. We'll give you a couple fortune back. We're going to try to take him out. He's a barber surgeon. He's important to your guys' survival.
I like how you give us some like silver lining there. We'll give you some fortune back. No worries.
One finally hits. Did crap damage to him, though. Oh, but he did get knocked to the ground, so he is back down on the ground again. The one on Lawrence has only 1 AP, so it's just going to try to hit him. Successfully does. He fails to parry. Uh-oh. Oh man, that puts him down. He's got to roll 2d6 for a possible injury. Ooh, no injuries. The other one now is fighting Jessup. Hits. Uh-oh. Oh man, that one does a hell of a shot. Jessup's got to parry this one. There's no way he can't. Ooh, critical success on the parry.
Sweet.
And that thing takes a level of damage from where he takes his rapier sword and just slashes the thing aside when it goes to hit him. He got lucky because that was a hell of a hit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what these others are going to do. The first one that was unhindered by the bench is going to take a... He's going after poor Bartholomew. He hits, does not parry. No injury. He takes another level of damage. These guys are unfortunately in the way. They can't get to Nigel. Actually, that one will come over here. And miss. Okay, so that's the end of all the fanatics. At this point, you see the ghostly apparition seems as though he solidifies.
Hey, that's our shot.
You're not sure if it's from the Dispel Magics, but he suddenly seems like he's there, like for real. Hagen, it's your turn.
All right. I am just going to continue on with trying to hit the Father Enoch devil thing.
He's been reduced down from some blast of what appears to be blue wind that has flown from Zelina and from Alice Brown.
All right. Good job, Zelina. Let's kill this thing. And I'm going to aim and try to hit him again.
Alright, go for it. That's a miss. Would you
Damn
like
it
to spend a
all.
fortune?
Do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's a miss.
Chaos has entered me.
Well, that's a shame. You still have more AP. That was only one. What would you like to do next?
Let's see. Is there anything I can actually do? I don't know. There's nothing really more I can do, so I'll just hold off on my last AP.
All right. So that'll take us to Nadia. I'm sorry. That's Father Enoch's turn. The reduced Father Enoch is unfortunately now not much better than these other guys, but he's pretty angry.
Don't forget about his groin injury. He should
Oh,
be
that's
able to
right. He
move,
can't
right?
move. Fuck, you're right. All right. He'll have to just try to... I don't think he's close enough for a tentacle lash at Alice
He
Brown.
can't
So
walk.
yeah, so his tentacle will only be able to reach Franklin Brown. So I guess that's what he's going to do at this point.
It did say he could do the walk action, though, right?
That's true. He can walk. He just can't get very far. So he's going to walk over there and try to grab Alice Brown. He doesn't have to move very far to get there. So it's...
He's just like a shambling zombie now at this point. We just should be able to avoid him pretty easily.
She fails to avoid him.
Well, spoke too soon.
He grabs hold of her, does a little bit of damage, and now we'll resist to see if she keeps from being taken down. She does not go to the ground, though. He will spend his second AP to... He'll try... Well, no, he can't because he failed. So yeah, he's done. He'll just save the others for parries, for things that are incoming. Dodges, whatever. And that'll take us to Nigel.
All right. We are not in a great position here, but I'm going to go ahead and just strike at this dude again between the others. I'll go ahead and move in just a little bit.
Sure. Later on in your military officer career, you're going to get some really cool talents that would actually have been really cool today, but you unfortunately don't have them yet. You hit...
Like the rank and file.
There's
whatever.
one that's called military formation, and there's another that's called like impenetrable wall, and I think they do like allow you to like parry for people that are next to you. Cool things like that.
Cool. Horrible on the roll.
Would
the
you like to
damage roll
spend
there.
a fortune?
How many do we have left as a group?
You got 4 at the moment, because I've been spinning them back at you.
Yeah, let's do that. That might be 1 wound. I think that's a total of 9.
Yep, that pushes them down, so you get to roll 2d6. Neither of those is a 6, so no injury. But you did do another level of damage. How many does he have left? Let me check real fast.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same one I was getting
Nope.
earlier.
It's not. So that is duly noted, and we will move on to...
I still have AP left.
You
Let
do.
me
Yep, you have AP
let me
left.
go ahead and do another attempt at inspiration.
Okay.
I can only succeed once, but I can
Yeah.
attempt until I get it right, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can attempt it. Once it applies once, it's done.
There we go.
All right, so all the allies... what's your FB?
3.
3. You can pick 3 allies who gain 1 peril threshold and 1 damage threshold improvement. Who would you like those 3 to be? PCs or NPCs?
Let's go with Nadia, because she's in a little trouble over there. And the 2 guys flanking me.
Okay, So those guys' thresholds go up by 1, so I'll have to keep that. Alright. So that will end Nigel's turn. You moved, you attacked, you inspired, and we move on to Nadia. Nadia, after some encouraging words from Nigel, it is your turn, and you find yourself with a few dead tentacle villagers around you and a couple still up, and you're next to the old man, barber surgeon, who's got one of his barber razors out and is trying to cut these things, but it's not going well for him. And you still got your spear in your hand. What are you going to do, Nadia?
Well, I'm kind of feeling empowered by the words of wisdom we just got from Nigel, and I kind of want to charge the solidified man in the middle.
Oh, you going to go for it?
I think I want to go for it. I feel empowered now.
Oh, yeah.
I feel good.
All right.
So I am going to charge.
You strike.
Boom.
You do 12 initial damage. Did you explode one? No? Yeah, you did. Would you like to spend,
See a 6?
Oh, you gotta roll the extra d6. That's why. Yeah, roll another d6, because you don't get the charge. The charge doesn't automatically count in there. Okay, would you like to spend a fortune to explode that one?
Okay.
Alright, so you do 12, 14, 19 to him. Your spear, much like Nadia's, runs right through his side and out the other side of him. And he kind of gives this like snarl look, and he turns his head your direction.
Yeah, bro. Stop.
Roll 2d6. You do not inflict any injuries. Not that you can inflict injuries on him, but I was going to let you try anyway. And so he, like I said, you got your spear ran through him, much like Meraki did down at the river. You're having flashbacks of when Meraki did the same thing to him.
Psst, that was me.
Meraki hit him first. Hit him real hard, if I remember right. You hit him, but then Meraki ran the spear all the way through him, if I remember correctly.
When I hit him, he disappeared.
That's true. Yeah, because Meraki had already hit him really hard. And then when you hit him, you actually did the last health level to him that caused him to dissipate.
Cool.
Alright, so, yep, you run up there and you run through and he turns and looks at you. And whose turn is it? Zelina.
Can I do my spell again?
You want to continue with Dispel Magic?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go to something different?
That's such a leading question.
I'm just asking. Like, you have things like Magic Missile now. You have things like Cack-Handed Grasp. Not that that'll help you here, really, much, but...
Well, I kind of feel like I need to dispel, because that will get most of the creatures off of people, or at least the bishop or whatever, I think. Did it go on everybody, or did it just go on him last time?
Hey, Zelina.
Yeah.
The thing that Nadia just ran the spear through? That would be,
Oh, whoopsie.
He is undead.
Ooh, let me do that. Let me do turn undead then.
He's also angry.
Let me look, because I
You
think
want turn undead?
I've got a better one than turn undead. Hang on.
We need one that says kill on sight.
was it? As an omen of death, I think. Was that something that does something?
If he's undead, if he's classified as supernatural, and you get a turn undead off on him, you would do 2d10 plus your willpower bonus damage to a single foe.
Oh, let's do that then.
Now, there's other things you could do here. Because let's see, that one is turn undead is considered it's a lesser magic, so it's still routine to cast.
I was thinking either that or omen of death, because both of those have to do with undead.
What was the other one you were wanting? Omen of Death?
Yeah.
After successfully casting a spell, a number of allies equal to your FB who can see and hear you have their fury dice explode on 5, 6, and 4 when determining total damage. That's Omen of Death. You would make damage dice results of 6, 5, and 4 explode if you were to get that spell off.
Be pretty cool for everybody.
That's a greater spell. That one is hard to cast.
Alright, since she's new to this, then let's just do the turn undead. And
there's only one undead target in the room, so... And I don't think you have to touch him, do you? You have to bring out your holy symbol, and it's line of sight. One person you can see.
Okay, let's do that. Can I just cast straight from that sheet, or do I have to go back to incantation?
You can cast straight from the sheet, but what you'll want to do is are you gonna channel power?
Yeah, I want to channel power too.
All right. So, before you cast, I want to talk this out for a second, because this is your first time casting a higher level spell. If you're casting a greater spell, you start out with 3d6 for chaos manifestations. If you start trying to power up, you're adding more d6s you have to roll to avoid chaos manifestation.
True. Alright, so let's not power up, but it's a lesser one.
Turn undead is lesser. Yeah, sorry, you're not doing Omen of Death. Yeah, never mind. No. You're fine. Yeah, okay, you can power up to 81% and
do that.
And you can cast it right from the thing if you want to. Well, good news. You casted. The bad news, you rolled a 6 on your chaos die.
I see that.
So, the good news is, you successfully cast it, and you're going to do damage to him. So roll your 2d10 plus your willpower bonus for damage.
Willpower bonus is 5, but there's a little -1 in the tiny box. Does that do?
No, that's just that's because you're human.
Okay.
So 5 is the answer. So 2d10 plus 5.
2d10 plus 5. So that's 14. No, sorry, 9.
9. Alright, so that will cause him to go away. As he catches a blue fire erupts around him. And you see he screams out. The girl is mine! And then he dissipates back away. It just kind of burns away.
Which girl? Nadia? Zelina? Alice? Come on, give us some more answers.
And Nadia finds herself sitting there with just a spear in her hand. As he goes away, all the tentacle people fall to the ground in what seems like some sort of agonizing pain.
Coup de grace.
And then one by one, they begin to explode.
Oh,
just
shoot.
Head pops exploding out their back. Blood guts start flying all over the church.
I'm gonna hide behind this little girl that I'm next.
Everybody, at this point, you're gonna succumb to fear. So I'm gonna roll some peril. You guys all take 11 peril.
I have a
That's a
talent.
lot of peril.
I have a talent that makes me immune to super scary stuff. It's called really brave little boy. I just took it. I don't think I'm gonna take any fall damage. So
Pretty sure it's called Zero Fucks.
11 peril is incapacitated for me, isn't it? I mean, that's like...
No. Look at your peril thresholds. And count, see where 11, how many of those
Oh.
boxes it pushes you, and that's how many down you go.
Just one.
yeah, I just only took one as well. Fortunately.
All right. Does this count as a blood-soaked visceral scene of death, or is it abjectly supernatural?
It's abjectly, it's a little bit of both. So it'll still apply to you for the purposes of people exploding is a little different than like walking in on a murder scene.
I suspected as much, yeah.
My dooming is Eye of the Storm is just a reprieve. Would this have anything like to do with that?
You know the funny things about doomings? They're like fortune cookies. It means something to you if it means something to you.
They're an American invention.
So did
I
Enoch
don't know what a
explode?
dooming does, so you'll have to tell me.
Does Enoch explode? Yes, he does.
Bye-bye.
About time.
And all that's left is just puddles of goo. All over the church, all over you. And that's kind of the point where the peril really starts to set in.
Hey, this is a serious question. I was way over here. I mean,
What's the distance of the splatter? Is that what you're wanting to know?
yeah, it's a very important question for
Make
my
a dodge
character
roll.
to know. Thank
Dodge
you.
roll.
Okay.
Just make a dodge roll.
All right.
Or coordination's the same thing, whichever one you can get to quicker.
It could be one of those things where being farther away from it is actually worse because you get to see it en masse, like across the room.
You take cover under the desk, and some lands on the
excellent.
desk, everything else, but you stayed clean there, Everest. You're still impeccable.
Thank
Imagine
goodness.
poor Terrence Mars there.
Yeah, he's covered. Everybody kind of grabs their stuff and comes to, and they start looking around, and Father Enoch is dead, and Jessup turns and looks at the whole lot of you, and he has this almost look of disbelief on his face. It was him, wasn't it?
Do you want to know something funny, sir? Something you've all failed to realize? That, witchcraft you've all been so afraid of is what just saved our fucking life.
You see Willis Brown, he's picking some pieces of stuff off of him, and he walks over and he puts a hand on Jessup's shoulder. Terrence Mars, the old barber surgeon, starts to make his way up there. And Willis looks at Jessup and he goes, "Old friend, perhaps it's time."
Dun dun dun.
You see Jessup just kind of lowers his sword and lets go of it, and it falls to the ground and just kind of clinks along the church floor. And the others are looking at him in disbelief. They aren't sure exactly what's to be said or done about it, and they don't know what they're referring to. Willis stops. He goes, "This is all our fault, isn't it, Jessup?" Jessup kind of nods his head. Terrence Mars walks over and goes, I suppose it's time that the truth be known. Milton Fillibrand, he never He never stole my mother's jewels when she was buried. It was all a ploy from the get-go.
I knew it.
To get Milton ran out of town. We planted those jewels on him, the ones that were found by Jessup. And Jessup knew all too well that Milton and his daughter Alice had been running around together. And he had no desire to see the two of them fall in love. So we took Milton down to the river and, well, we thought Jessup was just going to baptize him there, but things went too far, and before soon, Milton had quit kicking. So we drug him across the river and we buried him there. Then when he came back, unfortunately, Alice, we lied to you. We're responsible for what happened to Milton. But I swear to you, by the God Emperor, we had no idea there was a temple of demons over on the other side of those hills.
You disgraced the God Emperor's name in his own church.
We know. We've placed a curse upon this town it's finally come back, well, to quite literally haunt all of us.
And you dare to blame others? What kind of man are you?
Well, we're the worst kind. And I suppose with us leaving town now, we'll...
Oh no. Oh no. You are not leaving town. You are helping this with this demon. It's not going away.
There isn't anything we can do about no demons.
Oh, I have an idea.
Treefell's lost.
Lena's thinking about the blood sacrifice that's needed.
Yeah, you're thinking about it, but the problem is you need Milton's blood. And he ain't got no blood to give. Now, you could sacrifice any one of these fools at that altar to summon a demon if you know its name. But to close that portal that's already being opened, to stop that new demon from arriving, it's already bound to Milton. You need something that's Milton's blood.
Does Milton have a child?
Make an education.
Oh shit.
What level?
We can also go back out and dig up his body.
You have the pieces. You have a piece of his body. It's so old and been out in the weather that there's not enough left of it to use for the ritual. Oh, you made it exactly, Everst.
Yeah, no, and even if it's flipped to fail, I still...
Well, Milton only had one girlfriend.
Oh, didn't she have a kid?
She does.
Little Miss Ellie, man.
Nope.
Oh my gosh, no.
Margaret
Oh.
Stauncy.
Oh ho ho. What's the age?
It would be almost appropriate.
Are we
What's the-
sacrificing the whole kid, or just a little
No.
bit of the kid, or...
Probably just need the blood of the kid. That's it.
So here we
She's not
are.
a kid anymore,
No,
she's an adult.
it requires a human sacrifice.
Son of a bitch.
Oh crap. Are you sure?
So this is the family tree as you know it. So Alice Brown and Franklin Brown had 2 kids allegedly. The oldest is Margaret Stauncy.
Hey, I'm the only one that passed that education check. I would like to keep that information myself.
You're not gonna tell anyone?
Wait, I
No, I don't want to sacrifice a kid. Yeah, you can roll. I mean, I'm not gonna mention it. if I'm the only one that knows it, then it's gonna die
Alright.
with me. Because
Anyone else
I'm
going
not-
to
I
make
don't wanna
education
sacrifice a
roll?
kid.
This is for your quote-unquote educated guess.
Oh, might as well give it a shot.
Difficulty.
Standard.
I'm sorry. I just once my character
Okay.
puts 2 and 2 together.
Zelina's
like,
got
we
it.
have to sacrifice this kid.
Well, I mean,
Then
yes.
I'm not gonna say anything. That's okay. She can say something. I just don't want to be the one.
Everybody's got it. Yeah, everybody comes to the conclusion at the same time.
Hey, man, we gotta kill
So-
this fucking kid, and I'm just like, son of a bitch.
Can I flip to critical success?
It's flip to fail only.
Lame.
Yeah. Oh, are you flip to fail on that
Yeah,
for education?
But even then, it's still 1.
We don't need to kill the kid. We just need to just
Yeah,
keep
that
blood
if
as a
flip to fail
focus.
doesn't work, then
What?
Oh
what-
shit! No, sorry, I looked at the wrong one. No, I didn't pass. I failed.
Okay, so Nadia doesn't get it. You're still standing there in shock of what just happened, apparently. But the rest of you come to the conclusion that
Not I.
that Alice's first child, Margaret, may not in fact be a Brown.
She's an adult. We can kill her.
We don't need to kill them. We just need to use their blood as a focus, I'm sure.
I think so. I don't know. Do I know that? I think it has to be a.
The demon said you had to sacrifice.
Well, the demon's always greedy.
What if
Tell the
we
demon to
smeared
shut
the
up and
girl's
don't be greedy.
blood on one of these dudes?
Now it's got
so
weird.
we just move from one sacrifice to another.
Yeah, but these guys deserve it.
Yeah, we just bring some other guy in, but yeah, this is him, man. This is the dude you wanted. No, we swear. Yeah, we're totally gonna get one, pull one over on the demon. Especially when the sacrifice doesn't work.
I have an alternate plan.
Kill the demon.
How about we take everyone in town, they pack one bag, we go back to Huttenberg, report it to the Inquisitor, and let him handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
let's do that.
The whole
So-
town just comes in.
Job
Trust me, there's a
done.
demon over there.
I've flipped everyone over here to the original family tree. I didn't completely cover everybody's tokens up with the updated tokens, but I covered enough of them up that you see there that Fillibrand is in fact his lineage actually does run down and through the Stauncies, not the Browns, as you would have maybe suspected, or that everyone had believed. Which means that Milton's blood resides in Margaret Stauncy and her daughter Elsie.
Well, so we're going back to the city.
And that is where we will quit for today.
Can I just ask you guys, what has chat been saying this whole time? Like,
I have no idea.
Chat's been pretty quiet for a bit.
Yeah, that was mostly me and Woda and Oak.
So we'll go ahead, and we are running just a little late there, so this is where we'll wrap for tonight. So thank you everybody for who came out tonight and watched. This was Chapter 7, Terror and Treefell, Massacre. I thought there'd be a lot more dead NPCs, but my ability to kill things today was... And we were even spending fortune too, and it just really wasn't happening like I thought it would. But there's a lot of injured people, and I guess all the practitioners did explode. So it's a bloody gory mess. We resume in 2 weeks here on Thursday. We'll come back and see what the party's gonna do about their new conundrum. It sounds like they're gonna head to Huttenberg. So
Yeah.
I guess I should tell you. Here's where we'll end. You guys start immediately thinking that everyone's gonna head town, is gonna jump town, and as you get ready to head out of town, I was gonna start next session with this, and this has been playing for a while. So, as you guys make your way out of the church, standing over there in the corner at the road that would take you back to Huttenberg, you see a cart, and you see 6 or 7 mercenaries in brigandine armor.
Shit.
Oh, poopy.
And sitting on the cart, you see the plague Dr. Latronius.
He was planning to come in and exterminate us eventually, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He
Thumbs
was.
up, yo.
And that's
Yeah.
when you realize Nigel notices immediately he has the red caps with him.
Woohoo!
And that is where
They-
we'll begin next
They
game.
might be back up. Don't know.
So that's where we'll leave you guys for next stuff. Is obviously now you're going to get a chance to deal with Latronius and his mercenary crew that he's brought here to bring justice to Treefell. So we will catch you guys next week. Outro plugs.
2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks, sorry. 2 weeks outro plugs. Shoshi, do you want to plug your stuff again?
Yeah, I paint miniatures and teach miniature painting on twitch.tv/Shoshi's Minis. So you can follow me. I'm stream now Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2:30 to 5:30 GMT minus.
All right. For stuff here at TT2K, or actually, Lee, do you want to plug a few things? I know you've got a few things in the fire.
Oh, yeah, let me turn my little light on real quick. Look at my calendar. Okay. So enemy, did you plug enemy within tomorrow?
I was getting to it.
Okay, all right, I'll let you do that. Well, on every Wednesday, well, not every Wednesday. Wednesday the 5th at 9 p.m. I will be playing in a sessions. Well, we will be doing session 0 of a 5th edition D&D Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign that's going to be on the Dark Galaxies Gaming network channel, and we're going to be getting all sorts of professional art done and social media assets. It's going to be great. But we're doing session 0, and then we're gonna get the art done. So a few weeks after that, we'll start session 1. So yeah, that's gonna be a pretty huge deal. They've the channel's got, like, some of the shows on the channel has some pretty big names on it, so I'm pretty excited just to kind of sort of be alongside them. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm not really doing much, man. I need to schedule some stuff up for February. Damn, it's empty.
All right. Did anyone else have anything they want to plug? I don't think there is anything else at this point, so I think it's just my stuff from here. Since I got a lot, I always like to go last. So starting out, first things first, the stream team has a lot going on this weekend. We canceled Everstorm for Saturday because of scheduling conflicts. So Everstorm will not be taking place for like almost the end of February as our next Everstorm 5e game. So we're starting season 2, so it'll be, the first episode is Captain Fulcrum, as he is now taken over as captain of the ship. So if you're watching our 5e Everstorm game, you'll have a little bit of a break to get caught up with stuff. If you haven't seen the last couple episodes, you can find them in the VODs. We're also getting ready to start dropping our Everstorm season 1s are all going to be on going up on YouTube starting pretty soon. So if you want to start kind of from back at the beginning, you'll be able to start there and watch the whole thing to get caught up before too long. Other things going on at TT2KB, well, not TT2KB, but tomorrow, myself and Lee there, the player of Everest, we have our own characters, and we play in a Zweihander game called The Enemy Within, which is actually a Warhammer fantasy module being ran by Matt Jowett over at Grim Perilous. And we are 2 of the 5 players in that game, along with Oak, who's Urient's there in the chat. He's another one of our fellow players, and you'll get to see the 3 of us and a couple others playing some Zweihander tomorrow, 10 p.m. at Grim Perilous Gaming. Monday, Wisdom Check, 10 p.m. here at TT2KB. You got myself and Jeff. We'll be welcoming Tom, who goes by Malice. He's actually the guild leader of mine, Woda, and Georgie's MMO guild, Plague. He's going to be coming because when I first met Tom, we were all LARPers, and we're going to do a whole segment on LARP. So if you've ever been curious about how LARP works, all that stuff, then you'll be able to tune in Monday, as we're going to do a full 2-hour segment on LARPing, because we've talked a lot about it in other episodes of Wisdom Check, but we've never dedicated one to it, so we wanted to do that at some point. This weekend, on Saturday, the Liching Hour is doing a birthday stream where he's running a 16-player funnel through Dungeon Crawl Classics. And if you're not familiar with a Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel, it is a bloodbath like no other. Everyone gets basically sub-level 1 characters, and 16 people will enter the dungeon, and who knows how many will survive. But he's also raffling off a couple of Dungeon Crawl Classics core books, so definitely want to tune in for that. I think that is 8 o'clock Central. Yeah, well, maybe 1. Sometimes you're not even that lucky, but people die 2 or 3 at a time sometimes in those things. They're pretty brutal. The intent of a funnel is that everyone takes like 4 or 5 characters in. Usually have like 4 characters, so that's like 16 characters walking in, and the 5 or 6 that actually survive it become the PCs for the party that you then play through an actual adventure. So the funnel is like a pre-session who makes it kind of random sort of deal. But Lich is having everyone take 1 character, and he's got like 16 people lined up, and he's gonna run a funnel that way just for the fun of it for his birthday. Sunday, well, I think they're starting an hour early, so I think that makes it 8 p.m. Central Time. The Grouch Couch is wrapping up Season 3. It's a finale. They're fighting Savage Santa. If you haven't been checking out what they do on Sundays, it's Drunks and Dragons. They drink every time you cheer them. They drink every time you follow. And they're drinking wine. So you can imagine after 4 hours of gameplay what it's like over there. They do tell a good story, and this year there's been a lot of tracking down Savage Santa, so they're finally getting to kind of their end boss fight for this weekend, so it'll wrap up their season of Drunks and Dragons, so definitely tune in for that. And then next week, Tuesday, Bardic Knowledge, Cameron's back making game music here on the channel on TT2KB, and next week on Wednesday will be 7 Days to Die, where it'll be a Horde night, and my underground glory hole bunker will probably not work. But we're going to try to make it work. So that's what you got to look forward to over the next week here at TT2KB and on a few other channels that we're aligned up with. So in the meantime, and we do have shout-outs, but I run on a different Streamlab than the normal TT2KB, so it doesn't work on mine when I'm running Terror and Treefell. But if you use those shout-outs on the other days, they do in fact work. So without any further ado, thank you to the players for making it tonight. We hope Meraki's feeling better. So if you're listening to this later, Meraki, we love you, we miss you. And man, think of all the fun Meraki would have had killing these things today.
Oh, I know. Battle Royale.
I mean, yeah, it was right up her alley. I was so sad when I found out she wasn't going to make it. So hopefully in 2 weeks we'll see Meraki back. And everyone else out there, take care.